Oh, I didn't completely fix that. Hold on. Hi everyone, welcome to another Tinfoil Tuesday. How's it going? I hope you're all having a wonderful time. Let me take a look so I can fix this real quick. Window capture. Probably that one. There we go. Alright, alright, alright. How's it going? So, whew, I need a drink of water. Okay, hello everyone, how's it going? I see we're on a hype train, 91% to level 1. Thank you very much. Let me take a look at what I have missed. Overthought with 100 bits says, I am back, welcome back, we missed you. Says, I now have plenty of VODs to catch up on at work. Hannah's laughter directed at chuds and conspiracy theorists should make my return to the 9 to 5 that much easier, and I hope it does. I really do. I'm hoping that I can bring a little bit of fun to your day with the weirdness that I find on the internet throughout the week. Overthought, thanks for gifting a tier 1 sub. Altered Undying, thanks for 11 months, says, hello Hannah, it's almost been a year since I started watching. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I can't believe it's already almost been a year. Fenakagami says, hello Hannah and chat, happy Tinfoil Tuesday. My family will be moving into our new house this weekend. Congratulations. Enjoy the new abode. That's always a nice feeling. Humiliated Grapes, thanks for 200 bits. Meek says, pronouns? She, her? Are you asking my pronouns? She, her? Stone Corbell says, hey Hannah, been enjoying Starfield? I have, so has Baha. We've both liked it a lot so far. Humiliated Grapes, thanks for gifting a sub. And we are caught up 13% to level 2. I'm sure many of you, saw the Heels versus Babyface video where he was freaking out about there being pronoun options in Starfield. In particular, you know, there's he, him, they, them, and she, her. I think they're acting like they're primarily upset about they, them, but generally they're just mad because, you know, pronoun usage, the way that we use it now, is pretty common, and they don't like that. They're upset that the world has moved on without them, and it brings me a lot of joy watching them have man-baby tantrums about it. I was talking to someone on Reddit earlier, which is a mistake, never go on the internet, except for my show, of course. And I think I described it as something along the lines of, like, these are people who never grew out of their cringy Gamergate phase. Like, guys, it's over a decade ago. Give it up. Give it up. Be adults. You're making fun of Starfield, guy? I got it after the fact. Once I started talking about it, I understood. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 200 bits. Don't know if I said that. Who's Your Friend says, I had to return Starfield because the show planet's being, because the show planet's being they show planet's being rounded, I won't swallow that woke nonsense. It's especially funny in a role-playing game like a Bethesda RPG, which ideally should be about creating a character and giving you roleplay options, which I think the game actually does pretty well. Better than Skyrim, better than Fallout 4 in those regards, giving you options to make your character, you know, fill in the backstory yourself. I put it more on the level of, like, Oblivion in terms of comparison. I never played Morrowind, so I can't speak to that, but I'd say it's a little bit like Oblivion in terms of the ability to roleplay, but better than that. It's like they build upon that system instead of starting with the system you had in Skyrim, which was pretty shallow. Anyway, Starfield's fun. I know there have been people complaining, which is fine. Not everyone has to like the game, but if you like Bethesda RPGs, I think you'll love it. It's a really fun Bethesda game. I understand Fallout 76 was dog shit, and a lot of people don't like Fallout 4, which is fine. That's fair. Not everyone has to like the games I like. I'm not like a fangirl. I don't really care. I'm not defending the product of a multi-million, billion-dollar corporation. But I enjoy it. Maybe you will too if you're into those kind of games. 37% to level 2 on the hype train with a minute and a half left. Stone Corbell says, I remember when Heels vs. Babyface just talked about World of Warcraft news. It's strange the kinds of rabbit holes people go down when they taste a bit of shuddery, because I imagine they get addicted to it because it makes them tons of money. It makes them so much money just to complain about vapid bullshit that doesn't even matter. Like, even outside of the obvious, like, queer phobia and just, like, weird bullshit, it's just cringe. Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's so funny to me that these people are the direct, like, antecessors of, like, 2012, like, ooh, feminist cringe compilations. Like, they basically developed their entire fan base off of this kind of culture, and yet they're the cringe ones? They're fucking embarrassing? It's just funny. 30 seconds left of the hype train. It's Tinfoil Tuesday. How dare you? Oh, also, new lighting. Huzzah! The Hartnell lives. So that's fun. We got a ton of stuff from the Wishlist, which we're gonna go over. This is, I think, literally the single biggest, like, wishlist day since, like, the first week that I opened the wishlist. Like, and it's from multiple people. It just so happened a bunch of people sent me stuff, and it all got here, like, the same day. I must have mentioned the wishlist the other day or something, because a bunch of stuff came in today, and it was over a holiday weekend, so I guess there might have been a little bit of a backlog. Thank you for saving the train! Holy crap, I actually didn't expect that. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Let's see, Tucker White says, oh god, can you imagine going on the internet? What kind of loser spends all their time staring at a screen of thinking sand, right? Dumb, hypothetical people. Did you know that there are people who make their living talking on the internet? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's pathetic. That's a symptom of a collapsing system in which people can inanely make a living by sitting on the internet and entertaining people with shit posts. It's like rain on your wedding day. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Drop the mic, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Saving the hype train at the last minute, along with Stone Corbell and Stello Gaming. Thank you for converting from a Prime sub to a tier 1. I appreciate ya. Midnight, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Drop the mic, thanks for 21 months at tier 1. Says, just had the thought of CC playing Starfield and just seething. I wondered if this was going to come up. Like, if this game, I don't think it'll have the cultural impact of, like, Skyrim in terms of gaming. Because, again, it's not as easy to pick up and play. It takes hours and hours for the gameplay loop to really appear. So I don't think it's as casual friendly. But, like, I don't know. If it does get big enough that it's known in pop culture, I do wonder if Flat Earthers will bitch about it. Devil Summoner Marie, thanks for 30 months, says I find most Bethesda RPGs just painfully generic. Granted, I'm the lady who's writing her own entire tabletop RPG system that's post-apocalyptic fantasy with a distinct 90s technology aesthetic. Instead of spell scrolls, I have spell VHS tapes. I like things very, very aesthetic. That sounds great. That sounds like a fun setting. Let me know as that comes along, because that sounds like the kind of thing I'd be into. Anyway, Tucker White with 100 bits says, worse, some people give money to those internet people via donations or bitch. Snobbish chuckle, what dorks, right? Weirdos. The head DC doctor says Mitch hasn't had mini strokes or seizures of any kind, and that his fade outs are likely dizzy spells from the concussions. That's not better. That's almost worse, I'd argue. If it's like, no, these aren't strokes. This is just the level he operates at now due to traumatic brain injuries he sustained. Oh, good. That's better. First name Punch Number says, just watched Dead Domain's video on that guy earlier. The funniest part is the character isn't trans at all. He just misunderstood something and worked himself into a lather over nothing. Transphobes are wild. That was even a separate incident. That was when he saw someone who was a clone whose, like, sex had been changed. I think this is a thing in the Star Wars universe with one of the clone troopers, too, or maybe that character's trans. Anyway, the character isn't really trans as much as their genetics were taken from someone who was a male, and then when they were cloned, they switched it and made them female. They got rid of the Y chromosome, which, of course, you know, is a sex thing, not a gender thing. But anyway, they're a cis person, because they were born, you know, their sex was female at birth and they continued to identify as such. It's just that they were cloned from someone who was sexually male and gender was male. So it's not really trans. It's just a cloning thing. It's a sci-fi thing. No one in the scenario is trans. It's so funny. Have I discovered a leveling exploit in Starfield, like how you could abuse Muffle in Skyrim? I have not. They might exist. I try to avoid stuff like that, at least for my first playthrough. Like, I really try and play... I feel like I rob myself of something if I try and, like, really game the system. Like, when I play Skyrim now, totally, I know, you know, loops and stuff to, like, you know, oh, enhance enchantment, and then enchant better gloves to make alchemy, and then make better potions to do enchantment in a circle. But I'm not doing that with Starfield right now. I'm sure in 10 years, if I'm still playing it, I'll be there. But I'm just enjoying the game as it is right now. Can I play the rant even if it's not tinfoil related? I planned on covering that tomorrow. I thought tomorrow we'd do a Chud Watch and cover the Starfield stuff and whatever else. I turned off the music. That's weird. It's just weirdly quiet. It's just me talking. Fennec Gami says it's hilarious that Heels versus Babyface says that the left has nothing to say and boring. Inclusiveness opens the door to more creativity, like by definition. Conservatism is inherently uncreative due to it hating change. He's the one being restrictive of what he can experience by refusing to give it a try. I'd agree. 30 seconds left on the hype train. Devil Summoner Marie says, like Ultimate Spider-Man's take on Jessica Drew. She's a clone of Peter Parker made by Doc Ock for S.H.I.E.L.D. She ends up dating Johnny Storm, which makes Peter very uncomfortable for some reason. Also is the inspiration for some Rule 34. Tucker White says, when the right inevitably loses the trans fight, what becomes the next boogeyman? My money's on furries. Furries, yeah. They might more hone in specifically not on binary trans people, but non-binary also. I don't know. It might be that much of a shift where they're like, okay, whatever. Binary trans people, whatever. But what about these non, you know what I mean? It'll be something stupid like that, but I'd imagine furries will be a thing at some point in terms of the right scaremongering. You know, they've already been primed for it with the lies about the litter box stuff, so I can definitely see it happening. Which will be funny, but, you know, especially the Nazi furs will probably be pissed. Which is good. You should piss off Nazis. But, you know, it'll be fine. I'll do my best if that happens to defend the furry community. You don't deserve that shit any more than we do. Marusama says, I was hoping to have your kimono done over the 3-day weekend, but there is a fabric issue and I wasn't able to start. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you doing anything in the first place. Don't worry about any sort of particular time scale. Thank you for the hype train, everyone. Let's do some tinfoil. We didn't quite get to level 5, so if you don't mind, I'm not going to put on the jacket. Because it's hot. The weather doesn't know it's September yet, apparently. I love this look. Holy shit. I'm so glad I transitioned. God damn. It looks so much better now. Did you guys notice, by the way? No one said anything. Did you guys notice the new lighting? Isn't it pretty? God damn it. Oh. The Hartnell lives. That's a reference that fewer and fewer people are going to get as we get further away from charisma saves. Alright, so before we actually get into tinfoil, which we are going to do bingo, so get your bingo cards ready. Are the commands and everything working? Looks like it. I actually haven't noticed. Has anyone done the bingo command yet? Oh, you did? You mentioned the Enterprise too? Nice. Okay, the bingo is working. Great. What happened with charisma saves? You know, it just kind of fell apart. It happens. We got through, like, a level 20 campaign before than we did for 4 years straight, and then, you know, stuff happens. Can you pin the bingo link? Sure. Set it for, like, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something to pin. That's fine. Anyway, this is something that someone got me from the wish list. We're going to go over the wish list stuff that people did, because it was just crazy today. So let me pull everything up. And let me thank people for the things that they got me. Whew. Okay. This is the stack, by the way, of Blu-rays and DVDs, and that lighting that I put in the shelf. So yeah. Jesus Christ, people, you spoil me. Let's take a look. Phoenix Leftist says, enjoy your gift. Hope you and Baja enjoy these Blu-rays. I wish I could have gotten a few more for you. Anyway, enjoy. Thank you very much. I'm just going to read all these in order, and then I'm going to go through the movies, because that's the efficient way to do it. Let's see. Free space for Blu-rays. I'll give it to you. Fuck it. Sure. People spend I don't even know how much on these Blu-rays. So sure. Free space Blu-rays. You got it. Let's see. Longtime viewer since TBR days, never commented or anything, but I wanted to show my appreciation. Here's for the years of amazing content and hopefully many more to come. Enjoy from, Tommy TTC on YouTube. Thank you very much, Tommy. Let's see. Oh, these are also from Tommy. P.S. Check out, GE, Sync light bulbs. I have them and they're a game changer. They're reasonably priced LED bulbs, fit normal sockets. I'm assuming that's because you got me this. Thank you very much. I assume you're watching this later on YouTube. Appreciate it, and the advice. It says, not sure how this works when I mix gifts and non-gifts together, but the other DVDs are also from me, and these messages have to be short. Well, thank you very much. Okay, let's go through these. Okay, I'll do this quickly, because I know we want to get to the tinfoil, and I have a bunch of stuff I want to cover today. I won't take up too much time. Firestarter! I believe based on a Stephen King book? With, Drew Barrymore. Bolt! From Disney. The Great Mouse Detective from Disney. Home on the Range from Disney. I think this might be their last theatrically released 2D animated film, which is fucking hilarious. Pokemon the movie, I Choose You. Babe. Babe. The Pig Babe. Stand By Me, another Stephen King pick. Talked about Stephen King the other day, makes sense. Oh, Princess and the Frog was after Home on the Range? Okay, that's good. That's going out on a much better note. Munchies and Munchies 2. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Munchie and Munchies. It's like Alien Aliens. They just pluralize it for the sequel. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, which is actually my favorite of the Scooby-Doo animated quadrilogy that started with, Zombie Island. Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Alien Invasion, Cyber Chase. Solid films for Scooby-Doo. I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan. I own a lot of Scooby-Doo. Wacky Races, which is fun. I love Wacky Races. I love, Muttley. He laughs like, don't clip that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles Forever, which is a fun crossover multiverse Turtles movie. They did it before Marvel. Well, before the MCU. Marvel's been doing, yeah. Jetsons, the complete series. 75 episodes on 8 discs. Thank you very much. Meet the Robinsons. Don't sleep on Meet the Robinsons. It's not as good like a Pixar movie, or at least, you know, the good Pixar movies. I'll say this, it's no WALL-E. It's not even really Finding Nemo, but it's better than a lot of this era's Disney animated stuff. Karate Kid 3 and the next Karate Kid. I already have Karate Kid 3 on 4K, because I got the trilogy years ago when it came out. But the new Karate Kid, you can't just buy as its own Blu-ray, because no one likes the next Karate Kid, so they always bundle it with the Karate Kid 3. It's usually on a double disc, where one side is Karate Kid 3 and one side is the next Karate Kid. This was the same on DVD. When this came out on DVD, it was the same thing. They have no confidence in Karate Kid 3 or next Karate Kid, so they always bundle it. Karate Kid 3 is either always with the other two as a trilogy, or it's with next Karate Kid. Which I get. Karate Kid 3's the weakest of the trilogy. Anyway, and then finally, Space Jam, A New Legacy, which is the sequel to Space Jam. I've still never seen this. I've still not watched this film. Look, I have a nostalgic love for Space Jam, but Space Jam's a fucking terrible movie. And I heard this was worse than Space Jam. So, I'm pretty interested in watching that, to be honest. Thank you very much. I will sort these, put them in my collection later, scan them into my system, And that's great. So thank you very much for the gifts. I appreciate it, as always. This one just said a gift for you. Enjoy your gift. That's ominous. I don't even know who that one's from. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and the lights. The lights came with it, too. Alright, so I almost look like a professional streamer now. God damn. I need to start putting stuff on this screen. I don't. I really need to. It's the default Amazon gift message. I figured. Do I think Roger Rabbit will get a legacy sequel? I hope not. Here's how I feel about it. On my shelf, I have Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Chippendale Rescue Rangers, the movie, okay? As far as I'm concerned, Chippendale Rescue Rangers is a sequel, sort of. A pseudo-sequel. In my head, it takes place in the same universe as Roger Rabbit, which makes sense because Roger Rabbit even appears in the movie. I didn't say that, Ramblin' Boy, you did. Maybe I got a copy from Bob Iger himself. He showed up at my house and said, here's a DVD or Blu-ray. Anyway. No, you're fine, Ramblin' Boy. I'm just giving you shit. You're fine. No, but as far as I consider it, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, the movie, basically a backdoor sequel to the same universe as Roger Rabbit, but Roger Rabbit's basically a perfect movie in and of itself, and no one should touch it. Don't do a sequel, it's fine. Do spiritual sequels, that's fine. If anything, I think the idea of Roger Rabbit, like animated stuff, especially 2D animated stuff existing next to, like, live action, I think that's fun and can be used to tell great stories. It's just, you know, you don't need to slap Roger Rabbit's name on it. Alright, so let's get into it. Let's get into the tinfoil. What are we going to start with? You know what? Sometimes I tease you guys, you know? I'll put something in the title and then I'll wait. But why even today? This is so blunt, I might as well just cover it immediately. Let's watch the Stevie Wonder conspiracy. And yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. We've covered this topic before, but it's been a while since we covered this particular conspiracy. So let's just do it. If I can find the tab I left it in. There it is. Would I settle for a Cool World Legacy sequel? That's fine. I have no particular attachments to Cool World. Okay. Get your bingo cards ready. Let me drink some water real quick. Okay. Let's get into it.
Stevie Wonder with Spike Lee watching a basketball game. And what do you see here on the left hand as Stevie Wonder with a smile on his face? You see that watch. And this is definitely not a Braille watch.
Okay, so first of all, people wear watches for a variety of reasons, especially in the year of our Lord, 2023, which is the current year. People don't really need watches, because A, there's clocks pretty much everywhere, and B, people have phones. Phones tell you the time. Phones are basically just fancy pocket watches, okay? Oh god, that's embarrassing. Now you know my phone background is also the Hartnell. Oh. Anyway, the point is, people wear watches for fashion. People wear watches for status. Also, Stevie Wonder, you can't tell if this is like a watch that you can tactily feel just by looking at it in this blurry-ass image. This isn't CSI. You can't enhance it. Who knows? He's super rich. Who's to say that Stevie Wonder's watch that you can feel feels exactly the same as, like, an average one that you would get for someone who isn't a multimillionaire, you know? Either way, Stevie Wonder's allowed to wear a watch. And you know what? I'm gonna guess Stevie Wonder has people around him literally all the time, bodyguards and stuff if he's going out to an event like this, or at least a bodyguard. And he could be like, hey, what time is it? I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. What a hill. What a hill to decide to die on. Out of all the things that you could think are a conspiracy, you think that Stevie Wonder who isn't even the only famous blind musician ever. You believe that he's faking, and it just disgusts me, because the underlying implication here seems to be that because Stevie Wonder is blind, that he should be incapable of being the musician that he is, which is some ableist bullshit. There are so many people who have things that have been considered, disabilities historically, people who are deaf or blind or have all these things that to the general public, they seem like disadvantages, and often can make life difficult. And these people, should be accommodated for. But to act as though these people don't have the same value and capability to bring wonderful things into the world is just disgusting. It's just fucking disgusting. I hate it. Alright. Anyway, continuing.
This is a standard watch. And here is Stevie Wonder.
I doubt it's a standard watch. It's probably a watch that cost more than I make in a year, if I had to guess, because it's Stevie fucking Wonder. He literally did a duo with Paul McCartney. Like, the man's doing fine. The man's doing great.
In his car, and you see him with the watch. And actually, there's discussion by other celebrities how Stevie Wonder can drive. One by Elton John, and here you see as well with Lionel Richie. Okay, again, here is...
Do you not know that, like, stories that get told on talk shows are, like, bullshit? Like, I understand that not everyone watches Nathan For You, but even if you haven't seen Nathan For You's, like, takedown of this kind of thing, surely you must intuitively understand that, like, hey, stories that are told in marketing contexts aren't necessarily true, or at the very least they're very rehearsed and scripted and have been tweaked to be entertaining. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Stevie Wonder, I've heard the stories he's talking about because we've covered this conspiracy before. Basically, it's been noted that, like, on his property, Stevie Wonder has, like, driven a car a little bit to scare people because I think it's a prank he does. He's rich and has property and cars, and he can do that because it's not illegal to drive, on your own property, even if you're, can't see. You can do that. Not to mention, I don't know, I don't know what kind of blindness Stevie Wonder has, because there are many different, like, versions of being blind. That's a general definition, right? It doesn't specifically mention, like, whatever your actual condition is, if it was an accident, if it's congenital, whatever. But when we talk about people who are legally blind, that doesn't necessarily mean they can see nothing. They don't just see a void, They don't just, at least most who fall under the definition of legally blind, don't just see nothing, right? Tons of people who are legally blind can still make out shapes or brightness. They can make out, like, things if it moves in front of them. They can still detect light and dark often. Again, I don't know Stevie Wonder's thing. Oh, someone says, if I remember correctly, Stevie Wonder can see colors and vague shapes, but not specific things. Sure. This is something that's actually interesting, and I think needs to be better public knowledge, because faith healers, interestingly enough, kind of falls into a similar category as, like, conspiracies and cults and stuff. Faith healers will use people's misunderstanding of this to make it look like they've made blind people see. Because they'll go up on stage and someone will be like, oh, I'm blind, there's someone who's legally blind, most likely. And they take that person and they go, I'm gonna heal you with the power of the Lord, and then, smack him in the face or whatever thing they do. And they'll be like, how many fingers am I holding up? And they'll hold them, this close to the person's face. And they'll be like, 3, because they're able to detect basic shapes. And in front of them, if there's, if it's a bright room and there's 3 fingers in front of them, they can see 1, 2, 3, People assume, for whatever reason, that blind means you can't see anything ever. It's not even black, it's just the absence. That's not always the case. So don't assume just because someone is legally blind or needs assistance, like with a animal or something, like with a seeing eye dog, with a companion animal, don't assume that they can't see anything. Most people can. Again, there are people who, of course, do have just an absence of any, thing in their visual cortex. Most people don't. This is such a weird misconception I see all over the place. Even an episode of Quantum Leap did this. Literally, an episode of Quantum Leap. And I love Quantum Leap. did this, where someone tried to test someone's blindness by sparking a lighter in their face, you know? And in that instance, it worked out for a variety of plot reasons. But, like, if you did that to someone, it would still startle them, even if they were legally blind. I don't understand. It's one of the most known, you know, things that people can have that's like a loss of senses in some way, you know? You know? How can people understand so little about this when we should understand it to help accommodate people? Especially as we're like... the population as it exists, because of baby boomers, there's sort of an inverted pyramid thing going on where we're going to have way more people who are like super elderly and can't take care of themselves than there are like workers to support, you know, those people. We're going to have a world with a lot more people with different impairments, hearing, visual, as the next decade or so goes on. We need to be able to accommodate, not just for those people, but for anyone who deals with, like, these issues, and it's just... It makes me sad that we're so far away that there are people like this who don't fundamentally understand that in order to be considered blind, you don't have to be seeing nothing.
The watch that Stevie Wonder's wearing, obviously in plain sight for all to see, on purpose spotlighted, and here's an actual Braille watch. Give me a break.
That's probably one that you could buy generally. Again, let me look this up real quick. Incognito tab. Braille watch. Oh, no. No. These Braille watches, many of them look just like normal, like... Oh, I shouldn't say that, sorry. Just like, non-Braille watches. I apologize for the ableist language. So there are definitely Braille watches that look like the one that he discussed, but there are also Braille watches that more or less look like a more typical sighted watch. So the idea that Stevie Wonder's isn't is based on a fundamental misunderstanding and belief that all watches that accommodate people who read Braille look exactly the same, and they don't.
And also on a side note, Paul McCartney, so-called Paul McCartney, not the real...
Oh God, we're doing this.
...real one, on stage with Stevie Wonder. Take a look.
I've said this before, I'm sorry if this is redundant for you, but the Paul is dead conspiracy is the funniest one for me. A basic overview, there are some people that believe before Abbey Road came out, Abbey Road being, you know, the famous Beatles album where on the cover they are walking across Abbey Road, barefoot. You know, I'm sure you've seen it. If you've not seen it, you've certainly seen it as a tableau parodied somewhere, right? There are conspiracy theorists who believe prior to Abbey Road, the real Paul McCartney died in a car accident, and the studio, along with the other living Beatles, hid it, got a body double, brought him in to be the new Paul McCartney. I think Paul's the one that's barefoot. I don't think they're all barefoot. I think Paul's the one that's barefoot, and this is part of their conspiracy. Because they're like, oh, in the accident, the real Paul McCartney lost his shoes. Like, that's literally part of the thing that they believe. The actual reason, by the way, and there is a real reason, I believe he wore bad shoes that day. I think he wore, like, flip-flops or something. Or he wore something that was, sandals. Something that was not working for the photograph, so they had Paul take his shoes off. And it made a more interesting picture anyway. Anyway, they think it's a conspiracy. And the funniest thing about this is, to me, let's say it was true. It's not. Paul McCartney's the same guy he was back, you know, when they were lads from Liverpool. Yeah, they're the same. He's the same guy. He's just older. But let's say he wasn't. Let's say there was a totally crazy conspiracy where Paul McCartney died in some tragic car accident and was replaced prior to Abbey Road. Some of the Beatles' most successful work was done post-Abbey Road, as well as Paul McCartney's entire solo career, which would mean that the fake Paul McCartney is objectively a better musician than the real Paul McCartney that he replaced. So even as a conspiracy, it doesn't make any fucking sense. They replaced Paul McCartney with an even more successful Paul McCartney. Why? What? That's lucky. That's lucky that they found a musical wunderkind that also would somehow work with John Lennon for any amount of time.
Look at what happens here. Pause right here, and you just saw Paul McCartney bump his head on the microphone. Now take a look at Stevie Wonder, what he does here. As he reaches over, and he catches it.
Again, you can see shapes and stuff. I'd also imagine, I'm not doing the Daredevil thing. I think, unfortunately, on the opposite side of things, some people kind of have the impression, because of things like Daredevil, that maybe some people's senses are heightened more than is reasonable. But no, people learn to compensate. If you don't have visual acuity, if you can't rely on your visual, you're going to start to rely on other cues. Sound. He can hear the mic, and he might be able to see enough to know something's coming towards. I just don't understand. I don't understand how you can think so little about the world and how it functions and thinks it's this conspiratorial. What's even the purpose? What would be the purpose of this conspiracy?
Right in his hand. Let's play that again in slow motion so you get a better idea of what's taking place here. Obviously, Stevie Wonder can see. The amount of vision is questionable, but definitely he has vision. And back on topic with Paul McCartney, so-called Paul McCartney. Take a look here at the side-by-sides. Definitely.
That's literally the same guy. Just a different age.
Not the same person.
It's the same guy.
See the jawline, definitely different. Many aspects, the nose, the forehead.
I'm sorry, you're right about Abbey Road. I'm sorry.
I mean, just not the same person. Obvious to anybody that has eyes to see, no pun intended. Let's get to the video, featuring many celebrities stating that Stevie Wonder can see.
I'm just saying that there's a building list of evidence that maybe, just maybe, Stevie ain't blind.
Please stop. The media is so goddamn irresponsible. And I know half these people probably think, haha, it's just a joke, because no one would really take this that seriously. They do. There are so many vulnerable, just people whose brains have been so stuffed with just malarkey that it's rotted. Please stop entertaining even seemingly innocent conspiracy theories on actual broadcasts, on official streaming things. You're lending credence to these people's delusions. Either way, I'm sure they would find something, but it's not helping.
Here's a fun fact. Stevie Wonder wrote the song Sir Duke about me. And he's been faking his blindness his entire life.
That sounds like a crazy
That's a joke. That's a joke from the Netflix show. Oh god, what's it called? Oh, that tiara is making my bangs sweaty. Let's hide that with the tiara. DJ Shay, thanks for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. I'm Hannah. We're doing Tinfoil Tuesday. Big Mouth, that's the name of it. I hate this show's animation style. I couldn't get through more than like an episode or two. M. Scheffler says, the malarkey brain rot. It's an epidemic. Join, make sure you go check out DJ Shay.
conspiracy theory.
Stevie is probably, I'm going to tell you something. I've been spending my whole life with him thinking he can see. I know he can see. I go over to his house and he says, I got a record I want you to hear. He pulls a cassette out. Cassette. For all of you don't know, a cassette is forget about it. So he pulls the cassette, he says, come go with me in the car. He goes out to the car, and he goes on the driver's side. He said, get it on the passenger side. I get on the passenger side, and then he puts the cassette in, he cranks the car up, and he goes, and he puts it in reverse, and starts down the driveway. He's going down the driveway. I said, Stevie! He goes, I got you.
So literally within this bit, Lionel Richie is telling a joke, or he's relaying a joke that Stevie Wonder may have actually played on him. Right? Seems like a bit maybe he's, you know, done before? Because I've heard multiple different famous people say this. And Lionel Richie knows a lot about blind people, because he was in that music video, Hello, where he fell in love with a blind woman. And she said, "This is how I see you." Sorry, I like that music video. Anyway, no, Stevie Wonder's legally blind.
No.
Oh, yeah. You know, I do all this in front of Stevie, so don't look up. Stevie done some up to me. Let me tell you about the time he came up to the radio station when I was on the beat out here. Stevie was supposed to be performing live or doing keyboards, and he was late. And I had just bought this brand new truck called a Lincolnwood a long time ago. I'm on the radio, I get a phone call.
Yeah, Steve Harvey
It's Stevie
sucks.
Wonder. I say, "Yo, Stevie, where you at, man? You supposed to be here." Now I'm on 19th floor on Wilshire doing my radio show. I say, "Stevie, where you at?" He said, "I'm here, man. I'm just pulling up." I said, "Well, you can't drive."
Yeah, Stevie Wonder has a driver, I would assume, again, because he's a millionaire.
He said, "Oh, yes, I can. Look out the window." This motherfucker was in my new truck.
Again, this just seems like a running joke that he has, which is relatively funny, I'm not gonna lie.
With the windows down, and it was moving real slow, and the motherfucker was waving.
You let Stevie Wonder drive your snowmobile. Now, I would have to say, just the part of you owning a snowmobile would be enough for me.
I didn't own it. I was at the Caribou Ranch in
Okay, I think we get the stories. I want to go back to the conspiracy guy.
by himself.
Oh, Will Shorty in the building.
Oh my god, Shaq.
I'm coming on the floor.
Opportunity to dispel a...
It's just
Stevie got
Does he literally not even talk after this? Lame. Anyway, Stevie Wonder, he's blind. So. That's a stupid conspiracy. Okay. What was the other thing in the title? Oh, sports being fake. Let's take a look at the bingo card. I don't even know if we got anything off that, but let's take a look. I know we already have... we definitely have Blu-rays because I brought those up. Wherever that is. Let's say PSYOP for the whole Stevie Wonder thing. I'm not even sure what they would think it is, but that's a PSYOP. Dead celebrity is actually alive? No, it's the opposite. They think that a former celebrity is dead and was replaced. That's the opposite of that. They live. He used "they live." That's for sure. Wherever they live on the bingo card. If I can find things. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. And then reference the movie They Live. Thank you. I think that's it. Oh, spurious symbology is evidence. No, wait, that's not symbology. They just think, no. That's not symbology. That's just spurious evidence, which we don't have. That would be like everything if I just said spurious evidence. 'Cause it's all spurious. It's conspiracy theories. That's the point. Alrighty.
Hey guys. Hope everybody's doing good. I wanted to come out with some small videos while we wait for our next big video. But I thought this would be kind of interesting because for some reason, this isn't something that is usually thought about or even questioned, and it really blew my mind because I've never really even considered it until recently. Don't get me wrong, I've always considered that sports are rigged to a certain degree. We all know boxing, wrestling, and yes, these are sports entertainment, and
Okay, wrestling is sports entertainment in the sense that, yeah, wrestling matches are predetermined. It's a show, right? They're very open now about the fact, they're very open now about the fact that it's predetermined, but it's a show. Boxing is not. Like, I understand that there have been incidents of matches being rigged in the past, usually smaller things, I understand. But as a whole, no, boxing is a very real sport. Boxing is a real sport. And I understand the thought of like, well, what if they all just kept it a secret? They literally couldn't. There are too many people with opposing incentives here that would have to be in on the conspiracy. Like, that's not how anything works. Like, people who grow up, let's imagine boxing was all fake. Like, there's sort of a there's a Vince McMahon character behind it all, and he's, actually determining things. Let's say you're a kid who grew up watching boxing. You're a big fan of Manny Pacquiao or Logan Paul or whoever, or you like the Rocky movies or Creed. So you grow up and you train to be a boxer. And then you make it into the whatever the official boxing organization is called. And then you find out it's all fake. You're gonna whistleblow on that. Like, what? Like, at what stage do they think boxing is faked? Because, like, there are local boxing things in some cities, Like, there are smaller time venues for boxing where people aren't making a ton of money, where people are making no money because they're amateurs. Do you think that's fake? Why would they be faking it then? Or do you think at some point they just get big enough and they're told the secret? What level? How many people are in on this secret? What about bookies? Like, this would be a huge crime. Wouldn't bookies be interested in exposing this? Or different gambling organizations? Like, it doesn't make any sense. There are too many people who this would hurt financially with enough power to discover this. It just doesn't make sense as a conspiracy. Again, the more complicated a conspiracy becomes, the less likely it is to be true.
they can be indeed very fake. I think we can all agree there. The issue begins when you start bringing up basketball.
It's funny that even the thing he thought would be self-evident to everyone wasn't true. I'll count that as, conspiracy theorist thinks evidence is self-evident, but it's not on the bingo card. By this guy's worldview, CTE is an act, I guess.
Soccer, or football. That's when the cognitive dissonance kicks in. Kind of when someone learns about a brand new cosmology. They laugh at the concept with mockery, say the entire idea is ridiculous, and then they just go back to watching the game with the beer on the weekend with friends. It's a tradition, a ritual, and many of these sports fans have no—
Again, like, oh god, they're using AI art. Okay, so, like, I'm not a sports fan, you know? I don't watch sports, really, ever. It's just not something I'm really into, so I have no emotional investment here. Sports could disappear off the face of the planet tomorrow, and it wouldn't affect me even a little bit. Except in the ways that it would affect other people, and that would affect me. But, like, no, even I have a basic, like, outsider understanding of why people like sports, right? It's exciting to root for a team and to see, like, their skill or strength or ability, right? It's camaraderie, it's fun for people, it's competition, but in, like, a arguably healthier way, you know? I don't like it, but it's not mysterious, it's not a secret ritual. People have liked sports forever. Like, sports and competition have been part of human society as long as human society has been a thing. Like, there are entire branches of psychology that deal with, like, studying play, right? Games, play, and how they are used and how humans use them in development, in social situations. Like, the idea that this is something that's been concocted by an individual maliciously is just ahistorical, as if ancient societies didn't have their own games and sports that they played. Hydrate. Certainly those games and sports are, like, different, but they still existed for, like, basically the same purpose, entertainment.
No intention on changing that. which is fine. I just think that these sorts of things should be able to be questioned, and I find it very—
No one's saying you can't question it, but people are going to call you out at how ridiculous you sound. So question it, and then take people like me calling you I don't even know what to call you, brain rotted, whatever.
weird that this thought never even really crossed—
The Colosseum was all rigged. You know, I think it may have been rigged in favor of the tigers and lions.
crossed my mind until recently, which is there some type of tech being used in sports entertainment to increase or decrease the chances of the ball going into the hoop? Essentially, are these billionaire companies using smart tech to control when a shot is made or when it's missed?
Oh, so you think that the people in the sport don't even know? But how would that make sense in boxing? Because boxing isn't like a thing where you gotta get a ball in a hoop or a puck in a goal. You gotta punch each other until one of you falls down, or until, you know, you both make it through all the rounds and there's like a technical winner, or not a technical winner, a points winner. Sorry, like I said, not into sports. You know, the little Mario comes out and says TKO. Anyway, I just don't understand how you think this would work, and also, do you think this has been true for all of history? Because the NBA goes back a decent while. Like, the NBA as it exists today, I know exists as, you know, itself, and it merged with the, like, ABA at some point in, like, the 70s. But, like, they existed prior to that. Do you think they were using, like, sci-fi technology then? Believe sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card. Baycop says, Hannah, your take on sports hurts. You wouldn't care if there was never a Macho Man Randy Savage? Then there would never be Slim Jims. It's a ripple effect. Oh God, this crown. Give me 1 sec. What if we go to the bingo call sheet? Will I fix this? Perfect. Just perfect. Woo! It is warm today. It's unfortunately warm. Bumble Homestead. What do you want for the hats off? It has to be compatible with the tinfoil stuff because it's, you know, a foil day. Or I can give you the points back, whichever. Overthought says, modern contracts are created with performance-based bonuses. There's zero chance guys are letting the league manipulate games in a way that would cost them millions. All leagues have unions that would end that right quick. Yeah, true. Flower Crown? Okay, I think we can do that. Yeah, the tentative plan right now is to talk to Peter next weekend. If you didn't hear about it, we're talking with Peter soon. Oh my goodness. Where did I put the flowers? Flower crown. Okay. I don't think I can... Let's try this. And then this. And then this. Okay, I think that'll work. Whew. I'll wear the bullet crown for it, by the way. Of course I will. Cidosaurus says, I hope the Wi-Fi is quality at my aunt's place. I wouldn't miss another Peter discussion for anything, but I'll be dog sitting. It'll be a VOD either way. I'm sure he's going to try and mention his legally diet, air quotes, but we'll talk about that.
Missed.
Baron Davis can make a shot from anywhere on the court. Is it magic or is it magnets? Tiny magnets placed on the ball.
This is literally David Blaine. He's a magician. This is part of a bit.
Ensuring a strong attraction to the metal rim. Watch.
That's not how anything works. You know how he did that? You know how David Blaine did that? You know how David Blaine did that trick? He literally just probably sat there and tried it 357 times until it happened. Because it's a TV show, and you can edit out the takes where you don't make it. You know how what are they called? Dude Perfect or whatever? There are people on YouTube who do the same thing. Basically, the idea is you just do it a bunch of times, and then you only show the one where it works. And then when you remove all the other ones, it looks impressive because it looks like you just did it once, because we have dumb monkey brains, and our lizard monkey brains go like, oh, I only saw the part that was successful, so it's impressive that he did it once, because we don't take into consideration automatically he probably tried this 1,000 times before without us seeing the failure.
And when Baron needs more magnets, Baron gets more magnets.
Also, if there was a magnet powerful enough to make something go in the hoop, it would attract other metal things. And also, like, why would it go through the hoop? It would just stick to it. Because magnets. Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Don't believe me? Watch the NBA playoffs and you'll see there's really no other explanation.
I think most of you are aware that most of the media is set up to play out a specific way.
Wait, no. No. No.
But for some reason, possibly because of culture, we seem to let it go when it comes to sports.
What is going on there? That's a regular profession. You don't know nothing about that. Okay, can we get a close-up on that area? What? You don't know nothing about what is the profession? Yeah, which profession are we talking about? Just look at it. Is it illegal?
Freemasons on the bingo card.
Profession? Of course it's legal. It's a regular profession.
Probably because it truly does rely on skill. I'm not saying that these shots can't be made. I mean, I've played sports myself. I'm a pretty tall guy, and I've made some crazy shots by luck.
Okay, so then you know how basketball works. You know how sports work, so what are you doing?
I actually remember at the fair, they had those hoops that have a little bit of a curved rim, so it's almost impossible to make, but I was young and didn't really know, so I would just do stuff like that. I would come up and shoot and make the shot on the first try, and the dude was just like completely blown away, like, oh, how did you do that? I've just been really lucky when it comes to sports, so trust me, I totally understand all that.
Do you? It also felt like a weird brag. Chat, do you know that I was on a basketball team in first grade? It went badly, and then I was on the wrestling team because my parents wanted me to do a sport. My mom did, or something. Anyway, wrestling was fucking terrible.
I even kicked a basketball into the hoop from half court. It was just pure luck. But two things can be true at the same time, because we can never forget what we're actually dealing with. This is business, industry, and billions of dollars on the line. It's a church.
No, it's a business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. So a little bit like a mega church.
So I kind of stumbled upon this through watching Dude Perfect videos.
Oh my god, he even knows, you stupid man. How could you not get this?
Now I've been watching these guys for a long time now, and I'm not saying all their shots are fake, especially when it first got started. And I agree, I understand the whole, if you try 100 or 1,000 times, you'll make one of them, right?
Do you? Because that's literally the answer to most of these. That's literally the answer. Odd Tall Man says, I'm 6'6" and terrible at basketball. Every single person asks if I play. It's funny when people say that about, like, NBA stuff, too. Like, yeah, in the NBA, like, pretty much everyone's tall. You also have to be good at the sport. Oh.
Right? Just through luck. But over time, they became a bigger YouTube channel. The shots got more and more ridiculous.
Why is it the right has to make everything not religious into religion? Because I think it helps them okay, this is a broad generalization. I think for certain people, the kind of people that make that comparison, sometimes the way that they primarily view the world is through a religious or, at the very least, magical thinking framework, like conspiracy theories. So they're fundamentally not as able to understand other people's worldviews. We also see this when you study empathy and political affiliation. People on the left tend to score higher in emotional intelligence and empathy, whereas people on the right have a harder time empathizing with others, understanding other people's points of view, which explains a lot. So I think that inability or lesser ability to empathize causes them to frame other people's actions through a worldview similar to their own. So if they see people liking sports and they don't, it can't just be, oh, it's a fun camaraderie thing, it's a fun form of entertainment that people do to get their mind off things, or just have a good time. They like the sport, maybe they like the skill, maybe they like, I don't know, just the vibe, you know? Sports have a vibe, you know? I like Super Bowl parties, even though I don't like the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? There's sort of a community aspect to a lot of these things. I like going to sporting events sometimes, a baseball game, a hockey game. Like, those can be fun, but it's not so much because of the sport as much as I like being, you know, around other people at social events, you know? It's a fun thing to do. It's a fun thing to go see things happen. But I guess to these people, because they fundamentally conceptualize their own worldview, like, through some sort of religious or supernatural lens, they have to assume that the reason someone else is into sports has to be because they view sports the way this person views religion, because they can't conceptualize viewing it in a different way, because that's how they view their world.
Ridiculous until the point of people starting to question whether or not it was completely fake. This also gets super weird because they made a video recently trying to show how they do their trick shots. And
this is definitely, I can already tell from this one screenshot it's a joke. Like, I can already, like, this is clearly a joke. Because even if it was using CGI, you wouldn't actually need to have, like, a ball on a stick, right? You would take reference of the ball and the lighting, and then you would just, like, if you wanted him to have a ball initially, you would have him, like, take the shot, and then probably actually not take the shot, and then sometime you'd replace the actual basketball with a CG basketball. But you wouldn't need this. This is a joke. This is a joke about CGI. They're clearly making fun of the fact that people say this. And again, I don't know a ton about Dude Perfect, but my understanding, if I'm wrong, let me know, my understanding is that they just do stuff over and over again. That's the whole thing. They do it until they do it, and that's the entertaining part, is you get to just see the wins.
And it's kind of like a joke video.
Okay, so it is a joke.
But
you know this.
Still, people don't know, and they're kind of giving this illusion that by using green screen techniques to edit out the people, that this is what they're doing to make the shot. Which is just so ridiculous that people just laugh and say, ha, no, they actually really do make these shots for real, increasing trust in their brand.
Again, they do.
Well, that's at least how the video is presented. But there are shots where they seem to be using rigged setups. I mean, why wouldn't they do this?
I don't know what the string thing is for there, and I don't even know which part it's in. I can't tell if that's a background thing or if it's a foreground thing. But again, what does this have to do with sports?
People will think this...
Okay, I'll check it, Profane Priest.
This is ridiculous to suggest, but I mean...
Did you send me a message on Discord, or was it a whisper?
These are promoted by the mainstream media. This is what they want you to think, that they can just make all these insane shots, which, again, I do think some of them are real. Now, I'm not really going to argue about this, as I've seen the discussions on this, and it seems that many people do believe that Dude Perfect is real because they've had some bloopers or something in one of their old videos. And the argument in return seems to be that they could have just...
I'm pretty sure it's literally just simpler to do it 50 times or 100 times than to CG it.
...edited those videos as well. People have brought up the question on whether this is some type of visual effect being used, or is this some type of rigged setup that makes the ball fly into the hoop. Just look at the number of sponsors, promotions, celebrities that have worked with them. They make millions of revenue in entertainment, and they have to keep making these shots if their business is to continue.
Again, yes, that's why you do it a bunch. If I was going to get paid however much they get paid to just stand there and try and make random difficult basketball shots for hours, sure, sign me up. The income is worth it, I would imagine.
The only logical thing from a production standpoint would be to fake it at some point and simply present it as what it is, entertainment. Which, don't get me wrong, I do think they are talented and have made hundreds of shots, sure. But that doesn't mean that both can't be true. They have 50 million followers on YouTube, and I'm not saying that's bad or anything, but it seems that they sold out a long time ago. They're in the top 50 most subscribed YouTube channels alongside worldwide celebrities. So I was watching this video by these Australian Dude Perfect YouTubers, which they're starting to get big, and I'm not saying that I think it's artificial, I don't know. I was just reading the comments, and I saw what other people were thinking, and if you really look at—
Literally, holy shit, anytime I see anyone... You know who I trust about this kind of thing? People like Captain Disillusion. Captain Disillusion is a person who knows how to do special effects, and he rips it apart. Don't listen to random people in the comments. Do you know how often random people in the comments call something real fake or fake real? It's constant. The internet is a shit show. Stop listening to people on the internet, myself included.
Got it. It does seem that there's some trickery at play. Sure, the main argument seems to be this whole Magnus effect and how the rotation of the ball can change its entire direction. But this would actually make it even more unlikely because when he throws the ball, he's not accounting for that at all.
Yeah, that's why you literally have to do it like 100, you just gotta do it 1,000 fucking times. I guarantee they have a big thing of basketballs right next to them. They probably bought like 50 basketballs just so they wouldn't have to truck them up, you know, every single time.
Right? The first argument is, oh, they just do it over and over, so it's repetition. And then they just keep adjusting their movements until they get it right, so that makes more sense. But if you're now going to make the argument that it's the Magnus effect, then this would require a whole nother level of calculation that really would just make the shot complete luck.
A lot of it is. It's luck as well as repositioning. You go, oh, I threw it this way this time and it did this, and it was a little wide this way, so I'll try and adjust the other way. And then, yeah, there's a pretty large thing about luck in it. That's why they do it a bunch of times. That's their whole gimmick. Gimpy G says, I was a kickball god in the 2nd grade. My full-grown PE teacher would make kick the ball ricochet My full-grown PE teacher would man-kick the ball ricocheting off 8-year-old skulls. Then he would pop my wheelchair on the back tires and run like hell. I was so good at that sport.
Which I agree is possible, but if you look at the top
it's literally the simplest explanation.
Comments on these videos, they're saying that it's fake.
Oh my god, comments are saying something? Holy shit. Crazy. My comments probably say you're a dumbass. Does that make it true? In this case, it happens to be, but not because of the comments. Like, the idea that he's like, I don't know, there are some random people in the YouTube comments who say this is sus, so I'm gonna assume that it's sus. This is lazy even by conspiracy standards. Good God.
Which I'm not saying I agree, but I was looking through these comments and it just spawned me to start looking into the NBA, because that's literally what they're talking about in the discussion.
Oh my god, are they going to talk about the Harlem Globetrotters at any point? Please do. They're my favorite Scooby-Doo regulars.
Is that these
also Batman
shot channels in professional sports are using, let's say, fakery in order to control the outcome. Now I say it that way because what most people are saying is that they're magnets, and we'll get to that, but I wanted to present it that way because what if it's something else? Like, sure, it could be a similar outcome where the ball gets attracted to a specific location, but why does it have to be magnets? Is that because that is the only attraction-based technology that we're aware of?
Because conspiracy theorists are stupid. Conspiracy theorists are stupid. And they think on the level of that time in the movie Jumanji that they're like, it must be magnets. It's literally that. It's that simple.
This seems to be where the cognitive dissonance kicks in, because people are like, okay, what about jewelry? You're saying they have these on their hands? Ridiculous. You know how many people would be keeping this under wraps? And, you know, a lot of these arguments sound very similar to me. And that's why I was comparing the whole FE and the new cosmology, because you have these people who truly trust the mainstream narrative.
You literally brought up valid criticisms and then didn't actually address them. Like, you didn't address those criticisms, you're just going on to say, like, those people, they're too trusting. Okay, but answer those questions. Answer those questions!
They come in and laugh at those just asking questions.
Oh my god, we're just asking questions. No. You're using questions to try and frame an argument because you're a coward who doesn't just want to come out and say something. Because if you're given actual answers, you just don't agree with them because you want there to be a conspiracy. You don't want to be falsified. You want to be right. FE does mean flat earth, so flat earth on the bingo card. Finikagami says the lack of empathy thing is also why conservatives think the left wants to be authoritarian and take rights away. And kill right-wingers. That's what conservatives want to do those things. And Sorry, I keep trying to read too fast. I apologize. That's what conservatives want to do those things to us. They can't imagine not wanting to do those things to people you hate. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally mock them and
I truly wonder what it's like to, like, it's gotta be so fucking weird when you don't have empathy. Like, I literally think about people who are, like, really, really right-wing, who, like, are, like, if you talk about people who, like, are starving, or, like, you know, kids who are, you know, hungry and need food at school or whatever, like, we could do free lunch programs for them. And they're like, no, don't want it, don't care. And you're like, but people are suffering, and this would not hurt you in any way, really. You would maybe get, you know, a 5 cents per year in tax increase. And they go like, no, I don't care. Fuck them. Fuck them kids. Like, it's just such a disgusting worldview. And then they get mad, like, what, it's just a political difference? No, you're fundamentally a selfish piece of shit. You're literally benefiting from society, but you don't want to contribute back to help people who need it. You're a bad person. Your politics are bad. They're evil. Your politics aren't a separate thing from you as a person. They're literally informed by your moral and ethical considerations, and the right has none. It's just fucking anger and power and grievances. It's so gross.
call them dumb for even pondering such thoughts.
I mean, this is pretty dumb. It's not even just the pondering, it's the other things you've said, like, hey, I get it. There are people who just don't have the opportunity to learn certain things. There's nothing shameful about ignorance, right? What is shameful, or what is bad, is when you aren't willing to expand your understanding away from ignorance. The problem is that this guy, and people like him, it's not that they're ignorant, it's that they love being ignorant and they want to call their ignorance wisdom. They don't want to be following the truth. They just want whatever they already believe to be right. They don't want to be convinced. They're not available to be convinced. They just want the world to be simple like it is in their head, because the world is scary and complicated and they can't handle it.
Well, to me, that's a sign, and we must look at the way people react for this stuff as a religious cult.
Oh my god.
Weekly service at the end of the week with all their...
Yes, as we all know, everyone goes to professional NBA games every week.
families worshiping their idols.
I like when they dilute the definitions of things so much that it just means nothing. Like, enjoying anything is idol worship to some people. Like, oh my god, oh my gosh, guys, I spent time learning how to juggle. Oh no, I'm worshiping at the altar of juggling because I enjoy something. Oh no, I'm worshiping at the altar of Blu-rays because I enjoy them. Like, it's just stupid. Words mean nothing when you do this. Jordan Peterson does this all the time too. It's so annoying to me. Like, you've literally expanded the definition so wide that there's no substance to it. It's not useful anymore if it's this broad. Lenin Cat says, conservatives instinctively want the hierarchy. They believe that people have a natural place in the hierarchy where they're supposed to be. Any attempt to disrupt that seems unfair to them. It's why poor white people vote against their self-interest, because they know it'll hurt marginalized people more, helping to keep those people below them. Yeah. It's pretty fucking gross. Pretty stupid. I know the crabs in a bucket thing isn't necessarily true, literally, but as, like, a truism, as an idiom, very true in this case. There are people who will cut off their nose to spite their face. They will absolutely hurt themselves just because they think other people will be hurt more. Another phrase I've heard is basically, some of these people are the kind of people who would let someone take a shit in their mouth just so you would have to smell it. You know what I mean? Not great.
We'll get to the reason why this is all happening towards the end, but okay, so you saw that David Blaine video. That was for the 2007 NBA playoffs. And there's this idea that it was just a ridiculous commercial just to promote the NBA, but I don't really know about all of that.
You literally should, because you were just told it, and there's nothing about that that's questionable, and if there is, you can go and look up things about it. Like, you could go look that up. Like, what is suspicious about this to you? You are paranoid.
It doesn't really make that much sense.
Why? David Blaine, especially in the early 2000s, was a pretty popular guy. His street magician specials that were broadcast on a major network drew pretty decent numbers around this time. I know this because I watched them. I watched them, I think even one of them with my family, which in my family, watching TV together was not a thing, except for The Office for a short period of time. But, like, I don't understand what you don't understand. He's a celebrity magician, especially in this time. That's kind of when his career peaked in terms of his popularity. So he was used in a commercial to promote something. That's incredibly common. That's just how celebrity endorsements work. Moira Soma says, have you seen Paul and Morgan's video about Taylor Swift being a witch doing actual occult rituals on stage? Paul really isn't doing well. I don't think Paul and Morgan have been doing well forever. Forever. So.
First off,
I should get into more snark stuff. I should start doing streams about fundy snark stuff. That might be fun. I never really cover that stuff. That would be a good time.
David is being completely serious. We all know that David is fully aware of the trickery behind entertainment being one of the most famous street magicians.
I mean, yes, he's a magician, he's an illusionist. So yes, his trade is literally in tricking you, in doing illusions, correct? But he's open about that. He's not telling you he's like a magician or whatever. He's a fucking magician. Again, I don't know what he calls, a lot of the time, sometimes they like to be called illusionists, I don't know. They demand to be taken seriously. Arrested Development joke here. I actually really like illusions and sleight of hand. I used to actually do magic tricks as a kid. Not complicated ones, usually ones that required a prop. Like I never learned card tricks, not complicated ones, and even the basic ones I've forgotten at this point. But you know, I had magic kits and stuff and read magic books from the library, how to do basic stuff. And I like to do that. So there's a lot of fun behind illusions and magic, you know? I used to watch those specials, Breaking the Magician's Code, Magic's Biggest Secrets Finally Revealed, and its various sequels, which were basically just like hour-long specials that, you know, showed you how magic tricks were done. It's very interesting. The entire concept of how we do these sort of illusions, or how magicians do these sort of illusions, very cool. The Masked Magician is apparently a big asshole, by the way. At least according to Penn Jillette, the Masked Magician is a big cunt. And to be clear, it's not even like, you know, I don't think Penn and Teller have also done things where they've revealed certain tricks and how they're done. It's not about that. He's just apparently genuinely a douchebag. Which is so funny to me. Anyway, the idea that, like, I don't know, it's just interesting to me when people look at magicians in conspiracy communities and think they're demonic or something, or think that they have real magic powers, and it's like, it's so much more interesting and impressive than that. Like, sleight of hand and magic tricks have been a thing for thousands of years, and it's so cool. Fedekagami says their lack of empathy is likely why they think everyone, not them, is an NPC. They literally can't comprehend a real human who thinks differently than them. It's why they're so confused by other humans and scared of them. They can't see them as human and refuse to try to understand. It's likely the root of their cruelty. They don't understand people's pain, and they're terrified to be able to. Forrest Espion says, Hannah, you are 100% on fundamental Christians. For instance, on Christian radio, called K-Wave, they said, there's temporary earthly needs versus eternal needs. They claim to many Christian missionaries care about the, quote, earthly needs, food, water, clothes, shelter, education, of the people they help, but should focus more on eternal heavenly needs, sharing the gospel. So the most privileged Christian a-holes preach these things. I mean, yeah, that's not surprising. I went to, like I said, a Baptist elementary school, and they sent missionaries out, because it was also a church. I should say the elementary school is part of a full church, right? And it was a school that was like kindergarten through 12th grade, and it had the church attached, or rather the school was attached to the church. They were the same building. So yeah, the missionary stuff was weird. Like, I think it's great to help people, but when your fundamental motive for helping people is to try to proselytize to them, that's really shitty. you're a really shitty person if you do that. Just honestly. Like, if you want to go help people, you know, build a school, help build homes, build wells, you know, build basic infrastructure, help whatever, awesome. If your underlying motive is to change these people's fundamental beliefs about religion and convert them to your religion, whatever it is, fuck you. Like, I'm even talking, this is hypothetical, because I can't think of a non-religious person who has ever done this or would do this. But let's say there was, like, some sort of atheistic version of a missionary. I also think it would be shitty to go over and be like, hey, your traditional religion? Bullshit. Let's not. Don't we have enough of a history of, like, colonialism, imperialism, that we should know better at this point? God damn.
Why would he say all of this? And you know how the elite work with promoting what they're doing right in our faces?
Literally, no. Literally, it's a joke.
This is soft disclosure.
No, it's
not. It was no accident. It was so that you think it's just a commercial. Just a ridiculously small bit so you'll never question anything. They do this all the time in movies.
We're watching a movie on the bingo card.
Even with that Hulu commercial where they were saying that they were reptilians that ate your brain or something like that. Like, why even go there? Is that the best you...
Because it's a joke. Again, also that commercial's like over a decade old? Wow. Cruelty, I apologize. Let me find it. Oh, this was a while back. I am so sorry. Where was this? Was that back in the hype train? Did I just miss it somewhere? Why didn't I get it? Can you repost the message, maybe? Copy paste or something? Because I'm not finding it in my feed for whatever reason. It might not have shown up. Sorry, I'm looking for it. Bum bum ba da 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 dun dun da da dead air, don't want to be dead air, got to make noise so people don't click off the stream, because that's how the human brain works. We like to hear things even if it's something vacuous like the song, and I don't know what to say. Please repost the thing. Oh, you mean you missed some of the stream? I misunderstood. I apologize.
You can do it for promotion? Well, the other thing is I don't think David is telling the whole truth here, because for these ball players to be walking around holding magnets, I'm not so sure about that. I think they can just catch the ball, but...
That's where we're drawing the line. Catchers are real. Outfielders are real. Batters, though.
Maybe one way it could work is that the ball contains a thin layer of metal or even an electromagnet in the skin of the ball, but in the rim, that's where the powerful electric magnet is that can flip polarities.
How about this? How about they're playing fucking baseball?
And push or pull the ball with a fall off in its power in order to get it to slowly come into the hoop. And there is evidence for this, but I just wanted to say...
Oh my god, literally no. No, no, no.
I wouldn't be surprised.
This isn't trying to get the ball anywhere. This is literally so that they can track exactly where it is in the field to determine if it's still in play, where the ball ended up at the end of the play. Like, I barely know about football and I understand this. Like, the entire point when you're trying to, when you're on offense, you're trying to get a first down. You're trying to move the ball down the field a certain amount, and where the ball is matters because it determines if you go back to first down or if you're, you know, second down, third down, until the ball switches over to the other side if you don't move it enough within your turn. This isn't...
Surprised if there are other methods for attraction not known by mainstream science that is created through certain black projects and underground funding. I mean, remember...
Yes, famously, I'm sure the CIA is spending money on black budget stuff to fake sports.
These companies have billions of dollars. I mean, David Blaine tells you straight to your face.
Is it magic or is it magnets?
It's a joke!
there's actually more than one commercial. In another one, he says that LeBron James uses some type of jump ramp to achieve his dunks. Now, okay, this might just be a joke, but still.
They're both. How can he admit, like, this might just be a joke and not understand, like, no, it is all a joke. The whole thing is a joke. You are making a 36-minute YouTube video about nonsense.
I really wouldn't doubt it if we come to think of the level of wokeness and corruption that fill the
What? What in the NBA do you consider woke, sir? Please define the wokeness here.
NBA in the modern day. Which is ironic since most of the players are essentially slaves to their system, so...
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is a lot to unpack.
I don't understand why LeBron can be so privileged yet consider himself a victim. But anyways, let's take a look at some of these
fucking yikes
videos. So in terms of actually breaking down the game shots and slowing them down, I'm not going to do that since it's already been done, but I do want to break down the 2 biggest videos on this, so you can just go ahead and watch it from there. But before we do that, let me just address the people who are cringing in their seats at this idea so you can just calm down. Yes, I've seen the main points. There's no magnet in the world that could do this. As a sports player, I know that it's possible to make these impossible shots.
As a sports player, are you comparing your, like, high school basketball career to the fucking NBA? This is pathetic.
Or the, I used to play for the NBA and NFL, and I can guarantee that there are no magnets used. Even, it's impossible because of air currents, physics. Yeah, I'm not doubting all that.
You clearly are! Like, what even is the argument here? He's just like, you guys are saying a lot of things, but like, what if nah, though? Vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card. He's literally just bringing up all of the reasons the thing he believes isn't true, and just going like, but what if, like, it was true anyway? Like, what the fuck are you doing? What kind of masturbatory exercise is this?
I'm just asking questions. And the way people respond shows how attached they are to an idea. I get it. As I said, I've played sports my whole life, and you may not believe it, but I'm a pretty athletic person, so...
Why does it... Okay. Conspiracy theorist tells on themselves on the bingo card. Why fundamentally does it always come down to clear insecurity? Why does it always come down to them somehow trying to humble brag about themselves? It comes off as such a desperate move to be like, NBA people aren't that much better than me. I'm not mediocre. They're just all in on a conspiracy and it's all fake. I'm actually pretty athletic. I played basketball in high school, you know. Like, what is this? Seek therapy! Oh my god, so many people have so many just issues that they need to work through. I'm not excused from that, by the way, but I'm more aware of them. I'm much more aware of them. Fenigami says, this kind of self-centered narcissism is the same level as believing the creator of the infinite universe is taking time out of his eternity to specifically mold a life for you. The world is going out of its way specifically to try to trick you because you're just so important.
I completely understand the argument of kicking the soccer ball or just throwing the basketball with just the right shot and making such an amazing shot. I get it, I really do.
No, you don't!
I understand that it's possible because I've done it many times.
Guys, I've made many hoop shots. I'm very good at sports. So actually, the fact that Shaquille O'Neal is very famous and liked is wrong, and I should be liked instead.
But that's not necessarily what we're talking about. What we're talking about is it possible that yes...
I did get it, Demos.
Secretly,
Al Bundy.
There is some type of tech being placed into the balls, rims, and goals of professional sports entertainment to influence the outcome of the game and make
literally no
money off of bets. That's all. We're not questioning whether this is actually possible
That doesn't even make goddamn sense.
to make the shot. Of course it is. But when we're talking about an industry, billions of dollars, gambling, literally, soccer is the world's largest sport. Look at the stadiums. And the same could be said for basketball.
There is a ton of corruption in the world of sports, and especially if we're going to talk about FIFA, there's corruption in the organization. We see this when there's, like, clearly bribes going on to have, like, the World Cup in places like Qatar, where they used slave labor to build a bunch of the stuff. You know? I understand. But the game themselves, there is no evidence. Again, this is something I think conspiracy theorists don't understand. Okay. I've said this before. But a lot of them have inability understanding unmotivated systems. Systems that don't exist necessarily because someone going, we are doing this. In their head, it's like everything is a top-down. It's like a pyramid. Ironically enough, because they think the pyramid is a cult symbol or something. They believe that there's sort of a universal hierarchy in all cases, and this has been touched on earlier in the stream. They think that things flow from the head, basically. Someone must want a thing to happen if thing is happening, right? If thing is happening, someone must have made thing happen. They don't understand that there isn't this, like, organizational perfect structure to the world. Things are complicated. Systems aren't made up of, like, the military where there's, like, a command structure that's just direct down. In something like sports, right? Within sports franchises, we have all sorts of interactions of systems with incentives that give different people within said system different incentives, and they in fact fight against each other. Team owners, for instance, have different interests than players and the player union, right? The player union is probably going to have different interests than merchandising rights people, right? Individuals within the union might have conflict between each other. Vendors are going to have problems with, again, the organization as a whole, and they're going to go back and forth on things. Any sort of sports gambling that's involved in this is going to have different incentives. The culmination and net result of all of these different people and organizations with different wants and needs, power and incentives, the net of all of that creates whatever the reality of the situation is. You can be upset about the reality of the situation and say, like, wow, all these incentive structures and power imbalances have made FIFA and other organizations of this size incredibly corrupt. But that doesn't then let you say, well, it must all be rigged and they're all in on it. No, they're not. They're really not. Your average player in FIFA, right? Your average professional football player, they are not in on some conspiracy. They are playing the game.
These are the modern mega churches.
No, they're not. Mega churches are mega churches.
People just don't want to admit that. It seems that
so many conspiracy people are so on board with using the AI imagery. Comment of Cassandora, thanks for gifting a sub.
Jack Senpei is the...
I'm really glad that AI images didn't exist back in like 2012, because I guarantee we would have used them for TBR. Because I was like 17, 18 at the time. So I'm sure I would have been a dumb bitch that was just like, I'm just going to use AI imagery. And it would have been gross.
The biggest channel.
Man, sorry, Demos. I am misunderstanding everything today.
With the biggest video talking about the fraud of sports entertainment. He has less than 2,000 followers. And I don't know, people are saying that he could be a troll. Maybe he is.
I'm going to just start skipping around because we're not even halfway through this video. And his whole thesis is basically just, I don't know, what if? Which is stupid. So let's see if there's anything else funny. We'll look at the most watched parts and then we'll move on. And we'll take a look at the bingo card after too.
Stupid, so if anyone new comes to watch this video, they will just think it's a joke. But I
don't think it's a joke. I think you're a joke.
Really don't think he's joking at all. Watch that video if you want to see some of the shots slow down. And one of these weird shots where the ball just froze on the middle of the rim. And it didn't even get wedged or anything. It just got stuck there. I mean, shit.
It clearly did get wedged in some way. Like, that looks exactly like it got wedged. What are you talking about?
I've never seen anything like that.
I don't know the makeup of, like, I don't know what the detailed image of that would be and what it specifically got wedged, but clearly it did, because we just saw it happen.
And I mean, I've seen it go into the corner or right on the edge of the hoop, but no, never right in the center like that.
Okay, well, you just saw it, so...
And there's this other channel called Lobo, and he has another good video with more explanation. So, he's...
Referee decisions. But what if the refs could use electromagnetic waves to help pinpoint exactly where the ball landed to make...
Yeah, so that's about tracking the ball. Okay, let's watch the most viewed segment.
Football's easier with magnets, and also Bluetooth basketballs that completely monitor everything you do. Well, I think they hide the truth in plain sight. Not only that, but there's a video of a former Atlanta Hawks player who was watching one of the games on his live, and a fan noticed him talking about how the rims had magnets. Listen.
Out of the thousands, or I don't know how many people are active players in the NBA. People who are either former or current, I assume it's in the thousands, people who have been in the NBA. Out of those people, there are going to be some people who are conspiracy theorists. I've seen, I think, a couple NBA players come out as flat earthers, right? That doesn't make them right. Like, this guy's just into conspiracies. Or he's joking. We'll see.
Say he the fourth member of the Migos, man. Look, they got a magnet on the rim. Magnet on the rim. That wasn't even supposed to go in.
Sounds like he's joking.
The thing is, we're never presented with a theory that drastically puts to question everything you know and love, including your perception of reality and or what you truly enjoy watching, in this case, sports entertainment. That's fine, and I'm not saying all sports are fake. But when it comes to
it's literally what you're saying.
The global corporations making billions of
Oh my god, your problem is actually capitalism on the bingo card.
dollars on corruption. This is what we're really talking about when it comes to the world of sports entertainment and gambling. If it were known by the masses that these events were rigged, the entire thing would come crumbling down.
I mean, professional wrestling is openly predetermined, but that's still incredibly popular.
No one would watch it again. Just like with Jake Paul. Sure, people are falling asleep every day, but people are waking up to the fact that this is simply entertainment.
It is entertainment. Competition can be entertainment for people. And often is. It's not rigged. Wow. That's terrible. Okay, let's take a look at the bingo card. Illuminati Freemason / Cabal. Predictive programming. We're all watching a movie. Conspiracy theorist tells on themselves. Did he say the Matrix? Thought he maybe said the Matrix, but I'm not positive. Someone let me know. Dread Pirate Mick says, FIFA is incredibly corrupt, but the corruption is bribery in exchange for marketing and merchandising rights to which country hosts the World Cup, and money laundering through real estate. What happens on the pitch is irrelevant to the people and orgs making billions in the process. Misattribution of coincidence. Yep. What's MK Ultra? A government program about mind control from like the 70s that they often cite. Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism. Have no idea why is it always Michigan. That's just if something takes place in Michigan, or if they mention Michigan, or if they're from Michigan. You know what? Here's a wild card. Tracking microchip / implants. Not in humans, but it doesn't say in humans. It's in the balls. The sports balls. So tracking microchip implants, why not? Believe sci-fi tech actually exists. Vibes-based conspiracy. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. Wow, we have a lot today. Jamie says the tracking implant is stored in the balls. That's why I'm going to get rid of mine. No one will be able to track me. Flat Earth. I think that's it. I think that's it. I don't think I was so exasperated. Did that happen? I don't remember it. What would the move's goalpost be? If you're gonna say a number, tell me why you think, so I don't know, because I'm probably gonna ask. Doesn't understand how cameras work in relation to what? The track chips on the balls and cheese, so get rid of that too. Wait, did we do cheese? When did I talk about cheese? Did he mention reptilians? I don't... Can anyone else corroborate the cheese? I do not remember talking about cheese. I feel like I would have remembered it. Cheese is something else. Gotcha. Okay, that's it. Okay, what's next? What's next? Oh god, here's another person who's shitty about the recently, if you didn't see, India landed a rover on the moon. Very cool. I think it was at one of the poles. Might have been the south pole of the moon. Very cool. Great achievement for their space program. Of course, flat earthers, conspiracy theorists hate it and misunderstand it intentionally.
Last week, the Indian Space Agency allegedly landed an unmanned spacecraft and rolled out a rover.
Literally, they did. That's a thing that happened. We have video of it. Other people tracked it from outside the country.
Onto the South Pole.
Racist disbelief of historical achievements for this.
Of the moon. As usual, however, nearly 99% of the footage shown of this groundbreaking event was clear, obvious, and very poor CGI.
Literally, they showed video from the moon. They showed it. You just don't like that they also used things like this to illustrate things to the public. They never claimed this is real live-action footage. You're making that up as a straw man. This is supposed to be like, hey, for a visual of what's happening.
Why do you suppose NASA, Roscosmos...
They did it on Mars, why wouldn't it be possible on the moon? I don't think this guy thinks anyone's been to Mars either. He's a flat earther. I don't think he thinks Mars exists as a planet.
The Chinese, Indian, and all other world space agencies spend money creating and airtime broadcasting all these computer graphic animations of their expeditions, rather than show...
They show the illustrations because for lay people, that explains it. It's a visual for people who don't understand the technicals. It's a visual because it's not necessarily visually interesting seeing a choppy, you know, one frame every 2 seconds of it going down to the moon. Because primarily, they're not using video to fly this thing, it's all pre-programmed, right? The visual isn't what the people, the scientists, are using. Not to land or anything. They do have it, and they did show that. But that's not primarily what it's for. It's for the audience of lay people so that they can see it and be like, oh, interesting.
Showing us actual video footage. How difficult would it be to have a few cameras on these crafts?
Literally, there are. Oh my god, I hate these people. They're always like, why aren't there? You're literally showing pictures of cameras on the rockets.
permanently
literally that says, ever wonder why they never turn the camera around? Don't they care to see what's ahead? You would see nothing. You would see blackness if you were to turn the camera around. If they were already up in the atmosphere, there'd be nothing to see. 'Cause it's fucking space!
recording different angles of the entire flight for us. They allegedly succeeded in having a live telephone conversation between Nixon and astronauts on the moon, broadcast on television over 50 years ago. But with half a century of technological advancement, we still cannot receive live video from these rockets after only a couple.
We literally do. There was live footage from the Indian moon landing. Why do these people just pretend it doesn't exist? I showed it to you guys.
Couple minutes of ascent. They always change from live video for the first couple minutes to nothing but CGI for the rest of the
Literally,
journey.
there is video, though.
Look at these ridiculous cartoon animations and ask yourself, why can't the public just watch the actual live video?
Because then they would have to send an entire second rocket in order to film it, and then you'd be like, well, why can't we see that rocket? And then it would be an infinite regress of rockets having to film other rockets.
Of the entire journey. Even if only to be recorded and released at a later date, why aren't the public shown unedited video footage from multiple angles of the entire flight duration?
That would be incredibly boring. Do you know what's between here and the moon? Nothing. That's why it's hard to get there. There's nothing between us and the moon other than like very thin atmosphere particles that might still be floating about. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing. That's why it's hard to get to the moon, is because the vacuum of space. Like, if there was just a bridge to the moon, we could just walk there, but we can't. It's the fucking moon. It's in space.
Never once has any space mission in history been so transparent as to show full unedited footage of their whole expedition. Instead,
honestly, they probably will if we end up doing the the Artemis missions we're working on. They might. Even if they didn't, though, again, it's pretty, like, boring visually.
What we always get is what India's space agency has just given us. A bunch of grown men and women.
Sheeple or sheep on the bingo card. He showed sheep. I'll count that.
Fervently yelling and applauding over pre-made cartoons broadcast as live video.
Again, no one is claiming that's live video. It's like they think they're secretly seeing something other people aren't. No, people just understand that it's a demonstration. It's a simulation to show what is happening.
The still shots we are given from the Chandrayaan 3 are of two varieties. First, we have the overly produced, clearly photoshopped,
I mean, yes, that's literally just a promotional image. Yup. They're not claiming that's a real picture. Are you kidding?
Color propaganda pieces, like these, which are shown.
I mean, I'd argue that's propaganda, sure, in this broad sense that any, like, messaging used to emotionally manipulate people into feeling a certain way. Yeah, sure. All, like, nationalistic anything, you know, people being the same about America's moon landing, yeah, it's propaganda. I wouldn't disagree. But I think the connotation is darker than what's actually going on. It's fine.
Shown repeatedly alongside claims of India.
Yeah, it doesn't understand how cameras work. That's fair.
India's successful moon landing, without making it explicitly clear that these images were all created by artists long before the.
I mean, that might even be AI, if I'm being honest. That one kind of looks like they had an AI make this image.
Mission even started. The second type of still shot we are given are poor quality black and white shots of dirt and a dark background.
We have color footage from the moon. That's just what the moon looks like. I think this is color. This is just what the fucking moon looks like. It's gray. Like, what? We went to the moon in the, like, it's like they think we stopped after the first, like, moon landing with Buzz Aldrin. No, we kept going. There's plenty of color footage from the moon.
claim to be
We brought a rover up there and everything, and they drove around, a little buggy. Fun stuff.
taken on the moon, but are impossible to differentiate from a sandlot or movie set on Earth.
I don't think that's true.
Likewise, the short clips of video footage they
So here's actual video.
tease the public with as being authentic are simply 15-second videos of some lander
This is what I don't understand. If you think that they're faking it, if you think it's all fake, why wouldn't they just fake it and make it look great? You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna fake it, you would fake it and make it look realistic. You would make it look crazy, right? Why would you fake this? That doesn't make any sense.
Eggs approaching a gray background, and the rover rolling down a ramp onto some dirt somewhere. Look at the terrible
moon dirt
frame rate and artificial
The
appearance.
terrible frame rate. Sorry, it had to get here from the fucking moon. Sorry it's not up to your standards. It got here from the fucking moon. Harold Elberman says, so much of actual astronomy is seriously boring looking raw and half-cooked data that isn't actually boring if you know what you're looking at. It's like doctors looking at EKG and EEG tracings and then making animations for lay people. Bet they disbelieve those organs too. Then again, I doubt these guys have brains or hearts, so fair enough.
Of the supposed moon. What bit of this footage proves that India has actually landed on the moon?
The footage itself doesn't necessarily, but the fact that they did does. The fact that other people tracked it does. Like, again, I understand you live in your little world of weird incredulity at basic facts, but other people don't, so they don't feel the need to evidence this specifically for skeptics, because everyone pretty universally views people like you as nutbags, as people who are not to be listened to, so you're not catered to in any specific way, and the only attention you ever get is by people like me, who literally just make a living because people find you entertaining to laugh at. That's it. That's what you deserve. Not some really well thought out, evidenced bullshit, but me, D-tier Twitch streamer, mocking you. Pleb Central, thanks for 3 months, says Wallace and Gromit proved the moon is fake and made of cheese in 1995. Love the stream. Thank you. Stone Corbell says, do you suppose if somehow we could produce crystal clear 4K footage of the surface of the moon, they would be like, oh shit, this is fake, look how good it looks, just the opposite of what he's saying now? Yeah. If that happens, which there is plans to go back to the moon, yep, they're probably going to say that. They're going to be like, wow, the CG's really improved. They are not looking to have their beliefs falsified. Being open to your beliefs being falsified is a healthy way of living life because it allows you to change your beliefs with new evidence. But that's not what they're about. They think they know the truth with a capital T, and nothing will move them from it. Old Enough to Know Better Now says that D tier better stand for damn, that's one great-ass streamer.
What about these clips and images is supposed to silence skeptics?
No one gives a shit about you. No one cares.
And convince critical thinkers that this wasn't filmed here.
Critical thinkers.
Here on Earth. The entire mission cost Indian taxpayers $75 million.
That's actually not that much. That's way less than I would have thought, to be honest.
Which is equivalent to how much it costs to make the Hollywood space movie Independence Day, without ever leaving the Earth. It doesn't take much more than this simple charade to delude the gullible general public. But for those of us who have deeply researched this
Idiot says they're a genius on the bingo card.
And poked endless holes through the lies of NASA and other space agencies, we know exactly what is going on.
Truth with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Now I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Do you know what goes on? Nope.
On here.
Not the time. Not the time.
For those of you who still believe in these Hollywood and Bollywood farces, please do yourself and the world a favor.
To be clear, it's obvious that Bollywood had no involvement in this because no one broke into song. So, Check your facts. Seriously, though, fuck this guy. Let's take a look at the bingo card. Bubble Homestead says it's always time for show tunes. I don't know about that. Let's see. Doesn't understand how cameras work. Racist disbelief of historical achievements. Idiot says they're a genius. Sheeple. We had the Matrix. I feel like someone maybe said the Matrix. Let's go with the Matrix. I think that's maybe it. Unless I missed something. They did have reptilians with the Hulu. Did he say it? Did he say it, or in the Hulu Lad was it just that? Because if it wasn't actually directly mentioned... Yeah, my research, you're right. My research, said by not a researcher. If it's on here somewhere, let me see. My research said not by a researcher. Sparkly Flowers, thanks for 100 bits. He does mention the reptilians. Okay, reptilians. No, I know you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Do you know what conversations go on? I don't know what that whole trying out Bebo, trying out. What number is it? I'm blanking on reptilians. I can't sing at the same time. And obviously the singing is more important, so. Reptilians, there it is. What was 22? Sorry. Control... Oh, yeah. Thank you. Sorry, it was just delayed. Okay, what are we doing now? Halloween's growing closer, and I do like the spooky season. Let's go ahead and watch a little video about it.
Halloween is a festival that conjures up images of ghosts, skeletons, black cats, witches on broomsticks, and little costumed children scurrying about the neighborhood.
Who are you? Vampire. Dracula's wife.
While there are some people who may be concerned about the origins of Halloween
Why?
and its focus on blood, death...
Why? Like, why would it matter what the origins are if you're celebrating it in a different way? That happens all the time. Cultures and religions, like, borrow things from previous or other cultures and religions. It's common. It's not demonic. It's just fun. Chill out.
Horror and the occult. To millions of youngsters across the nation, it has been adopted as a time to pursue scary fun. It is an opportunity to dress up in ghoulish or fanciful costumes, to engage in the fantasy of being a witch or a vampire, ghost or devil. Eager trick-or-treaters solicit candy door to door or bob for apples at Halloween parties. Others brave haunted houses and horror movie marathons, while the more daring...
Is that from Shocker?
...visit cemeteries at midnight, play with Ouija boards, and hold...
Excuse you? That's a trademark of the Parker Brothers Corporation.
Hold
You owe them $1.
in an effort to contact spirits of the dead. One of the biggest promoters of Halloween is the public school system. School-sponsored
How dare we have fun things with kids?
Halloween-themed activities often include dances, costume contests, carnivals, and arts and crafts projects.
Sometimes stuff like that is directly to keep kids out of trouble. The idea is we should give them fun activities so they don't go out and cause a bunch of trouble on Halloween.
Education officials admit that more effort is usually put into the celebration of Halloween than any other holiday, including Christmas and Easter.
What even was that citation? Most school officials, did you do a poll? You can't just say shit.
Is the stimulation of a child's sense of fun and fear all there is to Halloween? Or
I mean, it's a commercial enterprise, but it's also fun.
Is there more?
Also, it's fun for adults, not just kids.
For many entrepreneurs, Halloween is big business, a major promotional event used to bring in billions of dollars worth of revenue. In addition to the usual costumes of cartoon characters for children, a growing number of outlets are featuring more macabre and sinister creations for purchase. This one well-known department store...
Look at this silly Halloween piñata. Doesn't it look evil? No, it doesn't.
...chain will sell more than $500 million worth of Halloween paraphernalia this year. And that doesn't include revenue from the sales of trick-or-treat candy. Costume shops such as this one are able to stay in business year-round as a result of the tremendous sales and rentals they receive during the Halloween rush. Farmers also view Halloween with an eye toward making big profits. Pumpkins are a traditional Halloween accessory used by households nationwide as jack-o'-lantern decorations. This one Southern California field of only 164 acres will yield nearly $250,000.
I'm sorry, am I supposed to find this B-roll shot of a field of gourds sinister? Gourds aren't sinister. They're fine. Gnome Pickles says, kids enjoy this and it is profitable, therefore we must fear it.
To its owner.
Oh, and Gitara says, this reminds me of the past year's YumaCon anime convention in Detroit, where an evangelical guy was shouting all the at the con goers that we're all going to hell and need to repent. The funniest thing was that someone in the crowd shouted, "Hey bro, what anime are you supposed to be from?"
Halloween is manipulated by the promoters of horror movies and videos as a major marketing opportunity.
What? They make them because there's a market for them. They're not forcing a market, there's a demand.
While horror films
You just haven't seen The Gourd King yet. That'll probably do it.
Used to be synonymous with B movies and considered the convention.
Oh my god, Little Shop of Horrors! Yes, the very demonic and evil Roger Corman film Little Shop of Horrors. Also, hilarious that they put Jack Nicholson on the cover, because Jack Nicholson is in one scene in that movie, but he's the most famous person from it. He later became famous, of course, so they put him on the cover. Because why not? Thanks, Roger Corman. We love you.
Low-budget industry standby. Today they account for...
Oh my god! John Carpenter's Halloween!
Nearly 20%.
Do you think that's bad? Wait till you see Halloween Resurrection.
Of all of the revenue...
Now that's demonic.
...received by feature film producers and distributors. The success of the technical revolution...
Oh, Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master.
...in special effects has attracted serious film directors to produce well-crafted, elaborate horror productions. A recent visit to the Video Software Dealers Association exhibition in Las Vegas showed that the two biggest selling artistic genres were pornography and horror.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hollywood is continuing to capitalize on society's growing craving for the occult and demonic. The irony is that while these producers label such films as fun and make-believe,
they are.
Many of them...
Do you think movies are real?
...hire practicing witches or Satanists as technical advisors.
Oh my god, this one's literally a kid's movie. This is Roald Dahl's The Witches. Roald Dahl, who wrote the BFG, Matilda, Willy Wonka.
who ensure the authentic reproductions and performances of rituals, sacrifices, spells, and
Night of the Demons! That's a good one.
curses.
People like are so hyper during the day, they need to come home and watch something that's like totally unreal so they can release themselves from all the pressures. It's just the type of thing that makes you laugh and forget about life.
Over the last 2 decades, most horror films have become far more graphic in their depictions of violence and cruelty. Movies affectionately known as splatter films routinely
Slasher.
detail torture and dismembering of bodies.
Oh boy. I wonder if this guy lived long enough to see the Saw series or Hostel. I hope so.
Drinking of blood, cannibalism, rape, and a host of other grotesque
The slasher genre did not invent rape in film, I assure you.
atrocities.
Well, we think it's pretty fun. A lot of people just like it because it's fun, it's wacko, it's not real, and so it's just the type of thing that people like to watch because you don't have to think reality when you watch it.
When it comes to gore or splatter or any other particular genres, the justification lies in our Constitution. I don't feel anybody has the right to tell me what I can or cannot watch.
Most of these films receive R ratings, which mean that children under 17 cannot view
Frankenhooker. I own most of the movies they've shown.
the film.
I may have a problem.
Or rent the video without the accompaniment of an adult. Yet this precaution is seldom
You
enforced.
keep going back to the Nightmare on Elm Street.
For 15 is the average age
Oh my god, it's Freddy's Revenge.
of those who see these films.
That's the one that's gay.
While many
In a good way. Until the end, at least.
producers claim that these gruesome spectaculars are merely fun and not dangerous.
Literally, to be clear, I want you to see, this is who they're talking about when they're talking about Freddy Krueger. Because by the time this came out, in the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie, Freddy is scary. Freddy's very scary. In the second one, too, and even in the third. But, like, by the time we're talking about, like, the fifth movie having been come out, let me show you the kind of person we're talking about. Literally, this is who we're talking about at this point. We're talking about a character that does a fucking rap with a not remembered rap group called the Fat Boys. The MTV-ification of Freddy Krueger is well documented. I love the old school genre of rap where it's like, and I'm here to say. It's like opening a paper with, like, today I'm going to be talking about... Devil Summoner Marie says, Anton LaVey did briefly appear in the 1975 film Devil's Reign as the leader of a satanic cult, but LaVey was a carnival barker who treated his new, quote, Satanism like any other circus act, all about the show with no real depth or meaning.
Feel like you're tired and ready for bed. Don't fall asleep or you'll wake up dead.
Okay, Julie Brown with you here on MT.
Literally, they did a whole MTV thing where, like, Freddy took over MTV for a little bit because he was super popular at the time. Freddy Krueger phone? There was literally a... This is so funny! Odd Tallman says, my name is Barney Rubble and I'm here to say I like Fruity Pebbles in a major way.
I'm Freddy Krueger, your worst nightmare come alive. And now I'm on your telephone. Dial this number now and I'll tell you Freddy's favorite bedtime stories. Gruesome new tales of murder and mayhem. Frightful heartstoppers of pain and gore. So dial this number now.
Here's silly moments from Freddy Krueger. Bon appetit, bitch.
Bon appetit, bitch.
Like, literally, he became a fucking black comedy character. The idea that he's genuinely evil is so funny.
Dangerous to the psyche of our youth. Many of the scenarios from the horror films are duplicated in copycat crimes.
Or consider this, murder and crimes existed prior to horror films, and horror films are reflecting anxieties in reality and not the other way around. Have you considered that people like movies where murder is a thing because murder is a real thing in the real world? And it's an anxiety and it's stakes in a film because films require conflict?
Which make for sensational headlines.
Glenn Hobbs was initiated into a satanic coven as a child by his grandfather and continued participating
Oh
for
my god, the fake satanic panic shit. Hate. Oh, this guy's like a known grifter, I think. I think we actually looked into that guy. Alright, we got through the horror film part, so we can move on. This is... I literally can't show you the screen during this for a variety of reasons, but I do want you to hear this conspiracy video because it is unhinged. So we're gonna go to this and you're just gonna listen for a little bit. Gimpy G says, to be fair, most slasher movies are not pro-slashing. Also, do you own the greatest horror film slash wheelchair crossover movie ever, Silver Bullet, starring Corey Haim? I actually don't have that one. Okay, you can't see this, but you'll hear it. Here we go. Oh, where's Boxy? I probably need Boxy, right? Hold on, let me find Boxer. Thanks, Boxy.
But if you notice all around us today, it's everywhere, it's rampant. People don't understand it is the agenda of the Illuminati. Population reduction. This
Population reduction as a motive on the bingo card.
This is why.
There is straight up the homepage of what is this? There's pornography and it's blurred out, but like basically the homepage to Bang Bros, which I'm assuming is a site. So that's on the screen that you can't see.
Why they created porn, for example.
Why they created porn? Pornography has existed as long as human beings have depicted things. What are you talking about?
This is why they have a gay agenda.
Gay agenda on the bingo card.
And this is exactly why they...
There's so many penises.
...are pumping our food that we intake into our bodies, and they pump our bodies full of hormones and estrogen.
Forced feminization on the bingo card. Let me put this out there. As a trans woman, I don't pay for estrogen just for fun. If they were putting estrogen in the food, I'd be golden. Okay? Although it would be difficult to dose with cheeseburgers or whatever you think. Literally, no. No, you're fine. You're fine. They're not force feminizing you secretly. Cruelty of a bingo. Let me take a look. Illuminati, forced feminization, free space matrix doesn't understand their problem is capitalism. You win, Cruelty 1. You have won. I will write your name down. So that is our official bingo winner of the day. I will bank your gift sub for you. Let me know when you would like it. We have gotten satanic, I believe. Logarth says, to the tune of the Too Many Cooks theme song, too many cocks, too many cocks, too many cocks. Takes a lot to make... Okay, I'm not going to continue with that. Cruelty 1. Okay, back to it. So that's our bingo winner for the day. We'll still play for fun, but that is the official bingo win that goes with the gift sub. Devil Summoner Marie says, Bang Bros is a pretty unethical porn company that are known for doing shit like pay for college girls' spring breaks, then pressure them into doing porn scenes. Ooh. Lots of really not great stuff in porn as an industry that are largely symptomatic of patriarchy and capitalism, but I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure. This is what frustrates me. One of the things that frustrates me about when, like, people make fun of, I can't say the website, but you know, there are places where sex workers who make content for the internet can go, and instead of having to be at the whims of some shitty producer or people who are going to abuse them, they can make their own content independently and then put it up on certain websites. And then chuds or weirdos will come along and be like, oh, why? Because then they get to be the beneficiaries of their work and don't have to be coerced into anything they don't want to do. That's why. It's an ethical consumption thing, but whatever.
The truth and the lies. So
there's so many butts. So many butts.
Now that you understand about the sodomy and the butt pirate and the dungeon, the willy, you know, and all of the gay pirate symbolism of the sacred hidden treasure of gold and jewels that lies in the depths of the cavern.
The cavern is a butthole. On the screen, he's making it clear that the cavern he's talking about is anal.
Which brings us back to Johnny
Depp,
who wears the pinky ring. You will now have the eye to see the truth about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where once again we find he's wearing the top hat of the Illuminati's jester character, the evil conniving trickster, with his one eye of the Illuminati. So here is the truth that lies between the red and the white pillars, like the pillars of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Ancient wisdom. Gnome Pickle says, gay pirates, yar matey, I be grabbing the cabin boy for a weekend at Fire Island. Oh, God.
So most people would assume that
word salad.
Charlie is an innocent word, but you'll notice the word lie that lies within. And of course,
incorrect word origin is evidence.
Charlie actually means the charlatan liar. The Charon, or the Karen, ferried the dead. So now you understand about Charlie Bucket. Remember the bucket of the gay pirate symbolism? Because they want to swash his bucket. And that's exactly why he is the golden ticket. So that's why this one-eyed lying trickster is playing the role of Willy Wonka, the one-eyed monster.
Again, just dildos, so many dildos and penises on the screen that you guys can't see.
So I think you know where these perverted minds are headed. It wouldn't take...
Yes, I'm sure everyone else has the perverted mind, and not you, for all of this. 1 second. All this stuff... Why is all this stuff not on? Hold on. I think this is the chat box. That hasn't been working, right? Weird. One second, I'm just adding something. I'll do it later. Never mind.
Take a genius to figure out what the Chocolate Factory is all about. The Chocolate Factory of the children who provide the Hershey Highway. So in the beginning, they take you through the steamy, misty clouds, and of course, it's by...
He's talking about the opening shot from the Willy Wonka remake from the early 2000s.
Warner Brothers. Then they reveal the penis pillar tower of the Chocolate Factory.
It's literally a smokestack. It's a smokestack. It's not a penis.
From the Willy Wonka. And then they take you down the chocolate hole, or the Hershey Highway, down the rabbit hole. Then at the end, it shows the tower, or the phallic willy, ejaculating. This is all blatant proof of the Illuminati's sick, disgusting, debaucherous, pedophilic, gay agenda.
Never expected to have so much in common.
We're not even a third into this, by the way. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. I think we're done. But I just wanted you to see, like, yep, this is a whole thing.
It's the 33, as in the 33 degrees.
Okay, moving on to something I can actually show you guys. Oh. I am not giving you a link to that.
So that's right. We're talking about Illuminati movie decodes. Now, I want to reference, excuse me, The Wizard of Oz. Now, one of the reasons this is such a complicated project, and it's ongoing, it's going to be a segment. This decoding movies is going to be a regular segment.
Why?
Here on McAllister TV, and you have that to look forward to as well. So, and I'm sure you will every morning look forward to that. Anyway, yeah, decoding these movies because they are more than just movies.
They're not.
Now, the movies that I'm going to talk about in this piece that I'm doing right now, that I'm working on, which it probably will not be uploaded until tomorrow, and I'll explain why. But it's going to be about modeling and about how they put these models up in front of us. And I've used this example of, it's a prototype, okay? So what they do is they create a group of movies with this prototype. And it's always with certain stars, too. It seems certain movie stars is what they like.
No, this isn't Evil Gina.
Like to call them, lend themselves, like Joan Crawford or, you know, Hedy Lamarr. That's another thing. I wanted to do, one of the movies I want to profile in this piece about this prototype, which is the scheming woman, the evil woman. The actually
tropes? Are you trying to describe movie tropes?
What they're trying to tell us is that these are the children of Cain. These are the reptilian bloodlines. And so that's what they're basically saying in these movies. The movie that, the first one that I did yesterday, and I realized it wasn't going to be enough, I'd have to put a couple more prototypes in. But it's called The Strange Woman. It's about Hedy Lamarr, and the name, Hedy Lamarr, that's not an accident. You've got the penis reference, and then you've got the name Lamarr.
These people are obsessed with fucking genitals and sex. Her name is Hedy. It's not a reference to anything. Oh my god.
And honestly, there's nobody...
Based on how Hollywood worked back then, that's probably even a stage name.
You can look at that you can't find some kind of occult meaning or some kind of gender bending thing going on. Martha Stewart. I mean, all these people that you just take their names for granted, you start to realize, hey, wait a minute. And I will do a video about this. Victor, Victoria. They're telling us to look at their names. In that movie, Victor, Victoria.
Victor, Victoria is literally about a woman pretending to be a man pretending to be a woman. It's, I believe, about a woman who pretends to be a man who is a female impersonator in order to make money.
If you know what that movie is about, then you know that they are telling us they are gender bending. And when you look at their names...
This is giving me a headache.
Davis,
I'm going to take this off.
You know, Rosalind Russell. You know, I have a whole list of them. It's unbelievable. So the names of the two movies that I've got right now are The Strange Woman and Born to be Bad. Both made around the same time. They're both black and white films. Joan Fontaine, whose name could probably be Fontaine or Joe. I mean Joan or Joe. Who knows? They play with this stuff.
Stone Corbell says, does she not understand the concept of surnames? I don't know.
So, Joan Fontaine, who is a guy, I mean, was born a man, it's pretty clear once you know it.
Transvestigation on the bingo
card. The bone
card?
structure of this thing.
The bone structure. Insert bones bit here.
Look, they all end up looking like men. Just men. After you know it. Men in dresses. So you're looking at...
So interesting to me how some of these people have worked themselves into such a transphobic fervor that they're seeing, like, secret trans people everywhere where they don't exist. Odd Tall Man. Someone already won bingo, but if you got bingo, that's fucking awesome. I can check your card if you'd like, for verification that you won.
Wigs and makeup and lighting and all this other stuff. There are a lot of devices being used to fool you. So those are the two movies that I had, and I wanted to grab a third one to show this prototype. And the prototype is born to be bad. She was born that way. That's what they're saying. There's no nurture over nature here. The other one with Hedy Lamarr, oh brother, it's called The Strange Woman. Well, the whole thing shows she was born that way. There's something about her makeup. And even her dad says in the movie...
Why are you talking about... She's not even in The Wizard of Oz. What are you talking about? Can we get to the actual Wizard of Oz?
Illuminati ritual. And I will break this down in a separate video, but I want you to know that even to the point where they decided, okay, the book goes over these Illuminati rituals, which is what they use to mind control people. Oh, it's 1939. So again, if you remember, the movie starts out in black and white. When she gets to Oz, it's color, implying Oz is a better place. That's.
I mean, it's supposed to denote the magical nature. Yes, it's symbolic of Dorothy feeling drab and not really liking her secluded life in the Dust Bowl. You know, yeah. It's also a gimmick because color was like, you know, a newer thing.
The implication there.
But there is a meaning. It's not hidden. It's pretty blatant what it stands in for.
And then, of course, when she goes back home, it's black and white again. But 1939, that was the advent of the color technology. So if you look at a lot
That's again, I know this video isn't about film. Colorization had been a thing prior and had been for a long time, but you're talking about like Technicolor. You're talking about what came to be the standard basically for color film moving forward, but it was not the first color film. There were films that were colorized previously as gimmicks, but Technicolor came around and basically allowed you to innately in-camera film color instead of after the fact having to frame-by-frame color in the colors, and a variety of different tricks and stuff. Technicolor was basically where they figured out the technology to make it widespread. All of a sudden, you could more easily and cheaply film movies in color, like, innately. You didn't have to do a whole bunch of extra stuff afterwards, any more than you do to develop film in general, really. Which is a lot. I'm not saying it's nothing, far from it. I'm just saying, like, compared to the previous way, Technicolor was a huge leap. Hydrate.
All this stuff, people are all...
Yeah, there was a color scene in Phantom of the Opera.
Already starting to figure out some stuff about the Wizard of Oz. So here they are, they're going down the yellow brick road. Well, the yellow brick road is symbolic of something.
What?
They're not just going down the yellow brick road. The ruby slippers are symbolic. Red shoes.
Oh my god, literally it's because in the original book, if you're not familiar with The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the first book in the series, because if you don't know, The Wizard of Oz wasn't a single book, it was a book series. In the book, they were silver. The slippers were silver, but in the movie, they thought that red would pop more because of the Technicolor that they were using, so they decided to make the shoes red, ruby, in order to be, like, you know, vibrant on screen.
And remember, she clicks the heels.
Oh, and the red shoes thing, some of the conspiracy theorists think red shoes are a symbol of, like, the Illuminati or Freemasons. The Pope wears red shoes, so they anytime they see someone rich or famous in red shoes, they're like, see? Because again, sometimes people wear red shoes.
Together 3 times. That's a device.
Was the snow also asbestos in the book?
And I guess how it works, and I'll find out more by reading more in this Fritz Springmeier book. The name of the book is called How the Illuminati Create an Undetectable Total Mind Control Slave.
Now do the whiz. Do the whiz.
It is thick, let me tell you, and there's no glossary, and there's no real index. You really have to...
No, Dorothy was not dreaming in the book, and the books is all real.
...to thumb through it and mark all the stuff yourself, which is what I've been doing. But it is, the Wizard of Oz book is an occult book, and...
It's not.
If you remember, the Theosophical Society is Blavatsky, Helena Blavatsky, and I've done videos on this, and I will try to locate some of my videos on the Theosophical Society and on Blavatsky, because she was a close associate of Aleister Crowley. So the idea of the Theosophical Society had written, quote, "There is a road, steep and thorny, beset with perils of every kind, with the Satanist's penchant for..." How much of this is like this?
Oh my god. Okay, in the original book, the Emerald City was not actually emerald or green. Again, holy fucking shit. It's like these people... You could take 5 seconds to look this up. In the original book, the Emerald City is not actually green. Part of the whole... Spoilers, I'm sorry, for the, like, 100-year-old book and almost 100-year-old film. Alright, spoilers, as it turns out, the Wizard of Oz is a carnival huckster. He's tricking people. So in the book, part of the thing he's tricking them is he gave them all green glasses to make them think that the city was made of emeralds. The joke is that the people in the Emerald City are gullible and being tricked by a carnival huckster. That's the joke.
The
movie changed this, of course, because it's more interesting to just actually see an Emerald City in the movie.
The rainbow is a mind control device.
What?
And once you read about it, you're like, oh. But until you know and have the knowledge, it's just a rainbow. It's something in nature. You don't really think about it. And here, I'm sorry, knowing what I know about these people, this just looks like a cluster of penises.
What? These people are obsessed! This is what I'm talking about! It's like this. This is the Little Mermaid VHS cover problem all over again. This is the cover that got recalled because people saw a dick in it. Like, look at this cover of the Little Mermaid. No child would ever look at this and think anything dirty ever. But a bunch of highly strung evangelical weirdos who apparently are just seeing big, massive, meaty, sweaty cocks everywhere. This is what I don't understand. These people seemingly hate sex or are very uncomfortable with it, yet they see just musky fucking thick dick everywhere. What is up with that? What are you doing? Like, this is not okay. Like, this is, like, you're making Sigmund Freud look right, and that's hard to do. Sorry, I tried to be as gross with my wording as possible. I think I won.
Over the horizon. But notice it's green. It's the Emerald City. Green is the color of Satan. Satan is the green man.
Green man! Satan is the green man!
So, and gold, again, you heard about the gold. So, there's a lot of symbolism here in this movie. It would take probably years to go through all of it. The other thing I wanted to mention is that when there's a couple things. when Dorothy clicks her heels together, that is a trigger. So what they do is they send these, it reinforces the program. And so it lets them know, what they do is make sure that their slaves go see this movie at a certain time, that this movie is presented to them. And as soon as the slippers click, another program goes into action. So they actually are triggering.
No, they're literally just magic shoes. Or if you want to take the ending literally, she's waking up. But I don't like the interpretation that it's really all a dream. I hate that shit.
Through the masses, they are able to do this. And they've been doing it for a long time. They were doing it through stories, plays, anything. Anything that gets a crowd.
What about Bob? Thanks for 29 months.
They're going to use it. And so another thing I'd like to point out is this is almost transhumanism here.
He's not a human. The Tin Woodsman, at least in the movie, was never human. In the book he was. In the movie he has never been human. In the movie he's basically a construct of some kind that was given life. Like some kind of tin golem? Like a tin golem, almost. But in the original story, he is a human who cut his own limbs off due to a curse, and then replaced them with metal. But no, in the movie, he's just like a golem. Baycob says, thank you so much for mentioning Musky Dick right when my girlfriend walked in to bring me a soda. The confused look on her face was excellent. You're welcome. JP Black says, now do Return to Oz. I love Return to Oz.
This is a hybrid, and this is like some kind of inanimate object.
His name is Scarecrow. The inanimate object he is his name. You couldn't remember Scarecrow is a scarecrow? Okay. So, according to L. Frank Baum, who wrote the book, Scarecrow was a thing because he had nightmares as a child about being chased by an animated scarecrow, and he decided to turn it into a good thing. So he turned it into like a friendly character that I believe in the sequel books he becomes the leader of Oz because he has brains. The lion, again, in this movie, he's like a, anthropomorphic because, it was 1939. They couldn't CG a lion in, and they're not going to have a real lion the whole time. But in the book, the lion is not like a furry. The lion is just a literal real lion, like Aslan. And again, Tin Man's a Tin Man. Hydrate, will do. Until Ozma shows up, yes. Trans icon, Ozma.
That has been given life, which according to some they can do. They can put consciousness into something inanimate. So
she straight up believes in magic.
Yeah, but that's transhumanism right here. And of course, Judy Garland was high up. I mean, they don't put their low-level creations in.
She got treated like shit. Judy Garland got treated like absolute fucking shit. She was basically the property of the studio as far as they were concerned. They made her smoke cigarettes. They made her fucking chain smoke to keep her from gaining weight. Like, she got treated like absolute dog shit. Fenekagami says, Satan is the green man? Quick, someone call Armored Skeptic. 38% to level 1 in a hype train.
In these productions, they choose the ones they want. And it will be the one that came out the best, the closest to what they wanted.
Okay. I think I'm done with that, lady. We can move on. Oh my god, I forgot. This is... How many people here are familiar with my Sovereign Citizen videos? I know some people here probably primarily watch Tinfoil Tuesday, but I gotta show you this because it's so good. We have an update on a Sovereign Citizen thing. Where's Taquan? I need Taquan. Taquan Our beloved fraudster who believes that he has found a way to game the system. He didn't. He just commits felony fraud against banks. We got him. He got arrested. Gnome Pickle says, I need to Quan the first time a woman has ever said... He's married. He has a kid. Or at least he has a long-term partner. I guess I don't know if they're married. I thought it was his wife, though. Sovereign citizens are kind of a conspiracy, so I'll skip through this real quick. But if you don't know, sovereign citizens are people who believe in conspiracy theories in which they, for one reason or another, there are different sects that believe different things. But the long and short is they believe that the authority of the law does not apply to them. They think that they have somehow opted out of society and basically get to do whatever they want, and laws don't apply to them. That is what they think, without getting into specifics. Bittergrin says, is she married to him or one of his alternate identities? I've seen her, so she is real.
Huh? Oh, my bad.
Any particular reason why?
Like I like to exercise my constitutional right just to try.
To be clear, Taquan has a fake license plate. His car is not registered. He does not have insurance. He does not have a driver's license.
You know.
He thinks he does not need these things. He is wrong.
Okay.
No.
All right. Just hang tight, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shit. Seen this before. They come up, do not detain and all that. They're like, what the hell?
He thinks he's on some sort of do not detain list. He's not. You know how I know that? He's being detained. This is not the first time either. Also, the do not detain list is literally for confidential police informants, which he is not.
Yeah, it's all foreign to them. Look, no kids in the back, none of that. Cause the last time they was like, oh, they let you go because your wife, your kids is in the back. Let's find out.
Oh shit, Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Wow, thank you. That is incredibly generous. I appreciate it.
You don't have to scratch it, you can just look. No.
Here it is, the guy's coming back.
Public.
Okay,
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on? So where do you live?
I live in the United States of America Republic.
Okay,
where do you live? The United States of America.
Your resident.
Can you be more specific? 85% to level 4, thanks to Nemesaur. Thank you.
Your house.
The United States of America
It's
Republic.
making it rain.
Okay, so where are you heading right now?
The United States of America Republic.
Alright, so are you just, you don't want to answer? Or?
No, that's where I live, sir. I don't.
Okay, so like basically the problem is I understand what you're saying, like
Yes, sir.
you're practicing your constitutional right to travel, but in the United States you still have to have vehicles still have to be registered and stuff like that. You can't just not register. I mean, so what happens if you crash? I mean, this is a nice car, right?
Yes.
So if you have no insurance, what happens? What do you think is going to happen?
I'll have to personally compensate that person.
He has a bunch of money because, again, he steals from banks. What he does is, and to be clear, I've said this before, I'm not crying for banks. Banks make a ton of money. What is upsetting is that he's ruining his life because he's ignorant, unfortunately. He's ruining his partner's life and potentially his kid's life by getting in all this bullshit. What he does is he puts in fake or stolen social security numbers and gets fake they're real lines of credit, but he does so using fraud, allegedly. And by allegedly, I mean his YouTube channel is literally him explaining how to do this scam to people. So he commits fraud against companies. So he'll like get a credit card from like, I don't know, JP Morgan Chase or something. I don't know if he still works from them. He's been banned from a lot of different banks, and I imagine he has warrants out, but Don't know. Anyway, or even if they don't have warrants out, if he didn't give them his real name, I don't know if they specifically know him, but they're definitely looking for the person who stole money from him. So what he does, and what he explains he does, is he goes and applies for, like, lines of credit, either for fake businesses or for fake identities, and then he'll get that money, max out his credit card or line of credit, and then he'll just abandon it. He won't pay anything back, but he'll use that line of credit to buy, like, a bunch of iPhones or iPads, whatever thing he thinks he can flip easily, and then he sells them, you know, in order to make money. He's basically laundering, you know, he's trying to make it look like he's getting money from selling things, but in reality, he basically stole the things that he bought because he got the money from a bank that he doesn't intend to pay back. Anyway, so he's a big scammer, allegedly.
You end up losing everything you own is the problem.
I understand that, but, you know, I still...
Do you?
But as a man, you know, give them...
But
exactly.
See, the problem is, in the United States of America, all 50 states, they require you to insure your car. So that doesn't happen.
Okay.
So you don't have any insurance. Have you ever been arrested before?
No.
You've never been arrested?
No.
So that,
his record says otherwise.
So when I looked up your name, and I seen that you had been arrested, that wasn't you?
No.
That wasn't me.
Because on the information on my car, no, I've never been arrested.
Because of the information on my car, I've never been arrested. I don't even know what he thinks that means. Minute left on the hype train. His kids have no birth certificate or social security numbers. That's abuse. That's gonna be a pain for them to get later in life. Holy shit.
When you want to step out, I mean, I gotta figure this out. I want to run the VIN off the door.
It's right here. The VIN number right here.
I'm not gonna scratch your car up trying to...
No, you don't have to scratch it. You can just look.
Basically, the cop wants to see his VIN number. Of course, you know, the VIN number, the main one that they look at is, you know, kind of in your front windshield, which it's illegal, by the way, to obscure that. Make sure your VIN number is visible. I'm sure if it was just something sitting up there and they were like, hey, can you move that? They'd be fine. But, you know, you're not supposed to have it blocked. 30 seconds left on the hype train. Anyway, he's going to try and check that VIN number, which he's fine with. But the guy also wants to look at other VIN numbers. Like, your VIN number is not just there. It's in different places in the car to show that, like, hey, this car is all the same car and it's all real. Like, these are all the right numbers. So the cop wants to see not only the front VIN number, but other ones as well. Which is funny because, wouldn't you know, this individual right here, Taquan, one of the scams he pulls is gets vehicles, cars, by going to car dealerships or whatever and using his fraud information to get financing for vehicles, and then he doesn't pay for them. So it is entirely possible that his car is absolutely going to come up stolen because, again, he committed fraud to get the money and then took the car without paying. Allegedly. And by alleged, I mean that's what he said he does.
I need you to step up.
I can't.
Why can't you?
Because...
Are you physically unable, or what's wrong?
I can't because the VIN number's right there, sir.
Okay, so I have to compare the VIN both spots to make sure that this vehicle is not stolen. Because as of right now, I don't know anything about the vehicle. You haven't given me any info about it.
Because the VIN number right there, you see on the side right there?
I want to compare the VIN in certain spots. That's the thing. If you want to be able to be free to travel about your way, you have to let me make you verify this vehicle's not stolen.
I understand that, sir, but the VIN number right there.
That's what I'm worried. I don't need to just see that VIN. I need to see other VINs. There's multiple spots where there's a VIN. And if I compare them and they come out to be...
I hope, beyond all hopes, that his children are able to escape the generational trauma that this is a part of, because I don't know if I've mentioned this, Taquan has talked about and made community posts. His dad is the one who taught him this stuff. His dad's the one that taught him, quote unquote, taught him this stuff. His dad just recently got out of prison after being in there for a very long time. So I am hoping that his children are able to see the mistakes of their father and his father and not go down the same path.
Legit, that I can verify that this vehicle's not stolen. That right now, that's my
Oh, it's incredibly sad. It's so sad.
concern to make sure this vehicle's not.
But
I want to make sure this is your vehicle. That's all.
But that VIN, you see that VIN right
I
there?
understand, but you haven't given me any information.
Well, I'm giving you the VIN number right here.
By the way, he got pulled over a couple months ago, and they gave him a warning because his wife and kids were in the car with him, and they didn't want to deal with, you know, they didn't want to deal with having to traumatize the kids. They didn't want to deal with, you know, the wife needing a ride. They basically said, we're going to let you go home with your family, but you need to get this shit in order. And he didn't. And in fact, he took them letting him go as a win, even though they expressly said, hey, what you're doing isn't okay, but we're going to use our discretion here to give you a warning because we can see your family's in the car. But instead he was like, see, they let me go. That means I'm right.
I have it, but I'm not about to climb up there and check. Yeah, because it's only because the VIN, you have to clean up like that. Right. So that's kind of.
So my VIN right here. I even got a VIN under the car as well.
Yes, you also have one under the passenger seat. There's a lot of places that the VIN is,
correct,
and they're permanent. So you can change this VIN, you can change that VIN.
Also helps track if a car gets sent to a chop shop. Certain parts will have VIN numbers on them. Help trace stolen cars. Doesn't happen a ton. Again, cops don't really, you know, do their job very well and actually help people recover stolen property, but, you know. That's the idea, at least, so you can track the crimes that were committed.
I can't change under it. Under it'd be 10 times harder.
But I'm not going to go underneath your car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably smart not to get under his car.
I can still run this VIN.
Oh, he's been very lucky with the cops he's gotten. Like, even though he gets arrested here, the cop is still very nice to him, all things considered. Within the context, grading on the American policing curve, but, like, it's pretty good on that curve.
Charles, Robert, you're who you say you are. So at this point, we're gonna have to place you in custody. I'm gonna have to ask you to come out. Now, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this to make things worse. I understand you're practicing your constitutional right, but I'm also doing my job as a police officer. Okay. So I've been very calm with you. I've listened to what you had to say, and I also am trying to get the reciprocating respect.
Like, this cop isn't mad. He's not taking this personally. He's just saying what's gonna happen. Again, not bad, all things considered.
I'm not gonna...
In terms of all the things he could personally do, I think the cop's fine. There's still all the same systemic policing issues at play. But again, on a personal level, as far as what this cop can do individually, he's fine for right now. Again, I don't know him personally, though.
I'm gonna try to wrestle you out of the car. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to I'm gonna have to take you to verify who you are, and then, you know, you can be on your way. But I have to take you in and have your fingerprints.
I can't. I just gave you my ID.
No, see, the thing is I need to see your fingerprints, dude, because you're not.
The cop is trying not to become another viral video. Good. If the only thing that'll keep police accountable is being afraid of being publicly shamed and exposed, good. I'd rather that than nothing. Those people ideally wouldn't be in policing in the first place, and we have so many systemic issues in policing and how police are trained, use of force, making sure people know to de-escalate like this cop is. But, you know, whatever.
Not telling me where you live.
This interaction within acceptable parameters, sure. Again, I'm not trying to make light of the very serious issue of, like, police violence, especially against, like, communities that have tons of, like, people of color in them. Like, let's not forget, like, Taquan is a black guy in America. I'm sure he's suffered for that. Totally. I understand that. But at the end of the day, in terms of this isolated interaction, it's not too bad.
That's my address. Okay.
I understand. You're not telling me where you live. The United States is not an address. I'm being very calm with you. I'm being very respectful.
We're going to keep going for a little bit after this video, by the way. We're not done with other conspiracy stuff. I just thought this was interesting and wanted to cover it.
Yes, sir.
But I also have to do my job, and I don't want. I'm not trying to wrestle with you. Okay?
I understand, sir.
And, like, I'm not trying to do that because that's not right.
But I still live outside of y'all jurisdiction, sir. I don't.
Actually, you don't. You're in Cook County right now. You're inside my jurisdiction. All of Cook County is my jurisdiction.
Don't fuck around there.
We're in Cook County.
I understand that.
In Illinois, in the United States of America.
I understand that, but personal, I'm not inside your jurisdiction. Personally, there's no personal jurisdiction that's been established.
Personal jurisdiction isn't a thing. What are you even... What? You can bring this up in court if you think you have an argument. The side of the road is not the place to be having it. What you should be doing right now is shutting the fuck up. Like, I don't even like Taquan, but I'm just gonna say, you should not be talking. If you had a lawyer, they would be yelling at you. Shut up. The cop is telling you you're under arrest, so shut the fuck up. Get booked in jail. Get a lawyer. I know you can afford it with all your alleged fraud money. Shut the fuck up, Taquan. And, like, I don't even like this guy. I think he's an asshole. But it's so frustrating to no end when I see people interacting with cops like this. And they say the dumbest shit. Like, even, I like videos of, like, I like true crime stuff. Like a lot of people, you know? As much as it might warp people's perceptions, I understand that. I like true crime. True crime's fun. So sometimes I like seeing interrogation videos or just arrests and the things that these people say, and by these people I mean anyone who interacts with the police and actually gets caught and usually in these videos is found guilty. They say the dumbest fucking things, some of these murderers. And I know Taquan's not a murderer, I just mean in general. Usually it's murder in the true crime. Like, to be clear, JCS criminal psychology is bullshit in the sense that their analysis of body language stuff is pseudoscientific bullshit. Anyone who claims that they can read body language, like, magically, or, like, it's a science reading body language. Bullshit, it's not true. Don't buy it. It is not true. Mooncat's video on it is a great, great thing. But I do find the actual, like, interviews interesting. Oftentimes I don't necessarily agree with what the cop is doing, but, like, it is interesting to see what they say. And I'm telling you, like, look at Chris Watts. Oh my god. I don't mean to go into a whole true crime thing, although I do think it might be fun to do some of those on a stream too. A stream where we watch true crime interviews, like public interrogations and stuff. That would be a fun stream. Anyway, sorry, I'm way off base here. Chris Watts is a guy who killed his family. His wife and 2 kids. That might be a good subathon thing, maybe. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is regardless of, you know, bullshit claims of body language, you know, analysis, I find videos interesting because it's crazy to me what people will just say to the cops on camera. They'll just admit to things on camera. Like, I don't even want people to get away with it, you know? Like, I'll see these things and it's people you know are murderers. Like, there was one video about, like, one of those school shooters. I don't even remember which one. It was the one who tried to pretend to be mentally incompetent. The one who tried to pretend that they were hearing voices and demons. Whatever that idiot's name was. Like, they just say, Nick Cruz, thank you. They just say such stupid shit. Like, I'm glad he got caught. I'm glad he spilled his stupid-ass guts and said stupid things and boxed himself into a corner and told a terrible story, and it was clear that he was guilty. But also, like, why do people think they can talk their way out of things with the cops? It's not real. Like, it's like they've seen movies. It's like they've seen movies where there's the trope of that character who's, like, outsmarting the cops and, like, I'm gonna play with the police and wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I can, in a game of wits, you know, win. No. No. Zip it. Zip it. Shut your mouth. Get a lawyer.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you again, would you please step out of the vehicle? I don't want...
Was he the killer that tried to pull the Sovsit card? Not the guy who drove to a group of people, the different one? I didn't even know there was a different one. Honestly.
I don't want this to go sideways, okay?
I understand that, sir.
I just need you to step out.
Sir, I can't, sir.
Are you? Why are we making this more difficult than it needs to be?
Sir, I'm just saying I'm outside y'all jurisdiction. You know, I'm not trying to...
Have I noticed police interrogations? Let's see, where was it? We noticed police interrogations in films and TV rarely have a lawyer present. Honestly, it's a trope in storytelling reason. A lot of it comes from propaganda. Dick Wolf's entire filmography, I've enjoyed Law and Order. I'm not going to say I don't like Law and Order sometimes, especially SVU, right? I've enjoyed Law and Order. I like a good procedural, but those shows are fucking propaganda. Like, even something like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, when we're talking about a comedy. And I actually like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think it's funny, although it is pretty horrifying, the things that are played off as humor in that show. But you'll typically see the trope of, when lawyers are involved, they're framed as bad guys. Like, defense lawyers come in and the audience is supposed to go oh, a defense lawyer? How dare you gum up the system and not just trust that these cops always get it right? I hate that. I hate it so much. I hate it. Anyway, sorry. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer, please. Don't do the cop's job for him. Shut the fuck up. Unless you actually hurt someone, then I hope you spill your guts.
You're 100% in my jurisdiction. I guarantee you. A judge will 100% agree with me.
Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up?
Okay. If you were outside my jurisdiction, I wouldn't be stopping you right now. Okay?
Yep.
I would not.
He would actually get in trouble for that, believe it or not. Self-incrimination. I can look that up.
You'd be moving on with your life. Okay?
Yeah, sir, I can't. I'm sorry, sir, I can't.
I feel like you're confusing can't and won't.
Sir, I can't.
Listen.
I need to get little letter tabs so I can easily just flip to the right section.
Alright, can you please shut the vehicle off right now?
So,
can you please shut the vehicle off? We're gonna do baby steps, okay? I'm gonna need you to shut the vehicle off. Alright? So I'm gonna need you to come out. I'm gonna open your door because you're gonna need to come out.
Okay.
Okay? I'm gonna need you to come out. What did I tell you? I'm being respectful with you, okay? But I also, at this point, I have to place you in custody because you're not under...
Self-incrimination, acts or declarations either as testimony or at trial or prior to trial by which one implicates himself in a crime. The Fifth Amendment, U.S. Constitution, as well as provisions in many state constitutions and laws, prohibit the government from requiring a person to be a witness against himself involuntarily or to furnish evidence against himself. It is the burden of the governance to accuse and carry the burden of proof of guilt. The defendant cannot be compelled to aid the government in this regard. So pleading the fifth, basically.
Our law in Cook County, in the state of...
To be clear, in this case, he still needs to go. Like, he can't say, I plead the fifth, so you can't arrest me. Like, he's being arrested. That's not up to him. But he doesn't have to be, vomiting admissions like he is.
Illinois, in the United States, you're not driving with a proper driver's license, okay?
So,
I understand what you're saying, and you have every right to fight that, but it's going to be in court. It's not going to be with me.
Yeah, I don't have jurisdiction, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you again.
So I can't.
I really don't want this to go.
He actually looks surprised. This might not be a grift for Taquan. He actually looks like he's surprised this is happening and he doesn't know what to say. That's interesting. That's illuminating to me.
You know what's gonna happen.
Like, he's looking back and forth at the camera. You notice that? Like, he's like, what the fuck is happening?
Okay. I don't.
Okay, let me turn off this. Let me turn off this thing at the bottom.
What's the thing at the bottom?
The light. So my battery won't drain.
Well, I'll let you turn that stuff off.
I got it.
Yeah, better stop the video. Oh my god, there's a second part. I didn't even know there was a second part. On the Rhineland says, meant to send bits message. Good for subathon?
I was invited to give you a taste of it.
Okay, I will save. Thank you. I don't know if anything interesting happens here. Oh look, he's in the back of a police car. Surprised they let him keep his phone. Yeah, nothing happens. Alright, back to the more typical conspiracy stuff. Thanks for dealing with the sovereign citizen thing. I just had to play that. Oh, Logarth says, not a derail, I swear. I found a nice specimen of ogre ear, aka Shrek ear, succulent, and now I need to find a Shrek mug to put it in, but everything is stupid and expensive. If it wants to play... Hold on, I'm actually going to get more water. I'm very thirsty and this is empty. So behave while I am gone. The chair is the queen of tinfoil. So all hail chair, and I'll be right back. The queen is dead. Long live the queen. Okay. I come back and you guys are worshiping chair. I swear to God, I feel like Moses. I'm gonna have to melt down the chair and make you all drink it as a punishment. All right. Okay, that one doesn't want to play for some reason. How about... Do we have someone... I know I thought I'd pulled someone else up who thought Trump was the Antichrist, which is funny. Let's try and load this one. Oh, it worked that time. BitChute and Rumble are terrible. I don't know how anyone... I do not know how anyone uses BitChute or Rumble as their primary video source. Like, if you're a chud, it's so inconsistent. Like, YouTube can be pretty bad. It's never this bad.
But I really don't care. The puppet masters, the rulers, the principalities, they control Trump just as much as they control Biden. Trump is an actor. He is playing his role as a heel on the world stage. Behind this...
I understand that Donald Trump was on WWE at least once, but that doesn't make this sports entertainment. See, it all wraps back around to a previous video. It's almost like I planned things.
Scenes, they are all together. Yes, Trump had better policies for sure when he was in office.
How about no?
But that was...
He did not.
All...
His policy was, let's pass tax breaks for wealthy people. That's what got passed.
By design.
That's actually true. We have seen Trump try and act, and he's bad at it. There's a deleted scene. If you haven't seen it... Trump. Wall Street. Deleted scene. So... Okay, so in the 1980s, there was a famous film called Wall Street, which starred Michael Douglas as Gordon Gekko, a famous villain that is known for his famous quote, greed is good. He was symbolically supposed to represent selfish Wall Street assholes in the 1980s under Reaganomics that basically didn't give a shit about anyone and felt that doing everything they can to enrich themselves was their highest goal in life. In the early 2000s, maybe not even in the early 2000s, like 2009, 2010, I don't remember exactly when it happened. I think it was shortly after the housing crisis and financial collapse from the Great Recession. A sequel, Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, came out, which is actually funny, because, like, family members when I was younger knew that I liked movies, knew that I liked to collect movies. I would get the most random movies from people. My aunt, when I was like, how old would I have been then? I was like 14 or something, and she got me Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. It was a decent enough movie. Anyway, there's a deleted scene from that movie where Donald Trump is in it, and he's a bad actor. So anyone who's ever claiming Donald Trump is acting or faking something, he's not good at it. He's just like that. Like, that's one of the reasons you can tell he's a big fucking liar. Like, he's not good at it. Anyway, this is why the scene was deleted.
I'm looking for distressed securities. Trying to get hold of them before the government does. Now you got that.
This character is Gordon Gekko. He's the selfish guy. The thing in the sequel was, you think Gordon Gekko is bad. Now he's coming back, and he's basically so... The new people on Wall Street are so bad, even Gordon Gekko hates them, is the basic gist. You know, how Donald Trump definitely goes out and sits in a chair to, like, at a storefront to get his hair cut? Like, even in the... I'm pretty sure even in the original movie, Wall Street, we saw Gordon Gekko getting a haircut in his office. Because people who are that rich don't go out to get haircuts. They pay someone to come to them to cut their hair.
Hey, is this the one and only Gordon Gekko?
Hey, Don.
Oh my god. It's so funny. Like, does Donald Trump, when he's in this movie, understand, like, Donald Trump, Gordon Gekko exists literally as a parody of people like you. Like, this character, Gordon Gekko, is in existence to comment on how fucking evil you are. Logarth says, imagine he has one of those Darth Vader medical chambers where his hair is lifted on and off by robotic arms.
Donald. What are you talking about? You're the one and only.
So now I've got competition. It's a great place to get a haircut.
I love this place. I've been coming here since the 80s.
Well, the 80s are no longer, Gordo. The world is a tough place. How's life, Gordo?
Life is fine, especially with a hot new hedge fund. Enjoying my exile here in London.
Hot new hedge fund? Are you kidding? The economy's terrible. But you know what? Send me the details.
He was better in Home Alone 2.
Plays the role of the anti-global...
Oh, you're fine, Halloween Town.
That
I appreciate your help. You don't have to... Sorry, Mushmouth. You don't ever have to apologize for not being there. I appreciate when you are. You're a volunteer mod.
way you can control the opposition.
Primarily, moderating comes down to me. It's my responsibility. I deputize people as mods to help, but it is never on them, it's always on me. And I was able to get him.
He was a legitimate actor for Hollywood.
I mean, no. Like, he cameoed in things. Again, he was in Home Alone 2, which he demanded because it was filmed, parts of it were filmed at a hotel he owned at the time. Or at least had interest in. And then he was in that deleted scene from Wolf of Wall Street. He's cameoed in things as himself, but that's basically been his business model, is he's, you know, a brand, but he's not an actor.
With The Apprentice, he was in the WWE, guys. We all know.
He's friends with Vince McMahon, or at least was. I don't know if they still are, but they were very close friends. They're both rich assholes.
No, the WWE is fake, and he plays the same role. He literally wears makeup, orange makeup, like a clown. He even speaks like a movie villain or heel with how he talks.
Yeah, he's just shitty. He's just shitty. The more and more, like, unironically, you know, before 2015, you know, my idea of what was realistic for people to act like was so different. Like, there are so many things I've seen in movies and used to see in movies or TV shows, and I'm like, this is so over the top. This is not how people behave. Even evil people don't act like this. And yet they do. I guess those tropes exist for a reason. There really are people who are like that. They're just rare, luckily. But sometimes they get on the world stage, and it is pathetic for all of us.
Huge. It's going to be huge. We're going to get there. We're going to destroy it. We're going to do this. He's playing a role. And no wonder if you go to the Church of Satan's website.
Oh my god, he's not a member of the Church of Satan.
The hierarchy supposed is.
Okay, enough of that. What else?
What I'm about to share with you may be life-saving.
Oops. Why did that happen? It muted.
What I'm about to share with you may be life-saving. You've probably heard that another round of medical tyranny is planned.
Oh god, grow up.
And your heart is telling you, I am not going to comply.
Fuck off. I'm not even entertaining this. I'm so sick of the anti-medical advice people. Oh, here's the...
Greetings, my brothers and sisters.
There it is.
I'd like to just have a chat with you today, and so much is happening in the news, as you know, and I appreciate...
That filter is certainly a choice.
All of your comments that you send me, all of your...
Using Windows Movie Maker from 2007?
Emails. Many of you make comments to me about things that are happening in the news. Thank you for your prayers for this outreach ministry. All of you are very, very much appreciated. We thank God for your friendship, for your fellowship.
Cassie.
Everybody's been talking, of course, about the Donald Trump mugshot that was taken a week ago. I've gotten some comments and quite a few emails from some of you about that. I think we all have our thoughts about what's going on in the news and all of the indictments and all of the arrests, the mugshot. Here's a few words taken from the news media. Donald Trump's re-election campaign has raised over $7 million since he was booked at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office in Atlanta on August 24th.
Are we sure this isn't a deep-fried meme? I miss deep-fried memes.
After Trump's mugshot was released to the public, the campaign began selling shirts, posters, bumper stickers, and beverage coolers.
Classy.
Bearing Trump's scowling mugshot. The items bear the tagline, "Never Surrender."
You surrendered.
On Thursday night, while flying back from Atlanta to Bedminster, New Jersey, Trump,
after surrendering himself to authority,
Trump sent out his first tweet in more than 2 years, directing his supporters to his website. The website's landing page includes the mugshot and asks supporters to make a contribution to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House and save America.
Can we get to the part where you think he's the Antichrist, please?
Chapter 8, verse 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. August of 2023, which is...
Oh god, numerology too. I'll give this guy this. At least he doesn't like Trump, I guess. Oh god. Okay. Anything else? Gnome Pickle says, is it just me or does that mugshot look like Trump is about to cry? Like he's a 3-year-old who didn't get his ice cream and he's trying to be strong but failing. I think he was trying to go for defiant, but it just didn't come off well. Like, I really think he probably, with his... I think it was even reported, I don't know this for sure, though. But, like, he must have worked with his PR people to be like, what's the face I'm going to make in the mugshot? Because we're going to use this for promotional reasons or whatever. I just think it didn't come off the way he wanted it to, and it looked really sad. Which is fine. It's fine for him to be sad. Just in general. Was he going for intimidating? I don't think it worked. But everyone's going to read into it what they already think. It's one of those things, you know? I've seen Trump supporters say that they think that he looks badass in the picture, you know? We're going to read into it what we want to, I think. It's just one of those things. Speaking of Trump BS, the leader of the Proud Boys got 22 years. Good! Fuck him. I don't think there's anything else we need to watch before we call it a night. Though the heels versus babyface thing is funny. I'm sure you probably saw, but let's, you know, did the book get there okay? Oh, was it the RPG guide? Yes. If it was that, then yes. Absolutely got it. Looks so fun. Thank you. So anyway, this guy got pissed off that there's pronoun choices in Starfield, which is so funny because it's effectively, and other people made this comparison too, video games asking if you're a boy or a girl is not a new thing. Pokemon did this in the 90s, and I'm sure there's plenty of games that predate that. Like, it's just so funny. The only difference is now that it's expressed through pronouns instead of just asking, are you a boy or a girl, and non-binary people exist, and we know about it. And they're acknowledged and have that choice. That's it. That's the only difference.
I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off, fuck that. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to sit down.
By the way, we're going to cover more of this tomorrow. So here, this is kind of a teaser for tomorrow. Look at me doing a promotion. Tomorrow on Chud Watch, we're going to look at some of these chuds reacting to the Starfield stuff. But I did want to watch this.
Comfy chair, turn on my PC.
More options in my video games.
Fire up a brand new RPG. Lose myself. Think, oh my god, just think of this world. Just think of all the planets I can visit. All the immersive things that I can get involved with. All the fights. All the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us.
Literally, it's just an option when you're writing it says like, oh, what's your character's name? And what's their pronouns? Because in the game, for dialogue, people will refer to you as whatever pronouns. Just like any other game that does that. Like Fable did this, Fable 2 did this back in the day. At least Fable 2. I guess I don't remember Fable 1. Like, games do that, because you select a character, and then people react to the character that you are, and gender is a part of that. You're just upset that non-binary people are represented now. Like, that's literally it. I talked about this on Twitter, but no one should ever be on Twitter, so let me just say this. Fundamentally, whether they realize it or articulate it this way in their head or not, what these people are mad about isn't that this is a new thing, because it's not, right? It's not that this is a new thing. It's that this has been a consistent thing. It's that this isn't a new thing. It's that they've been making fun of this kind of thing for, like, over a decade, or at least a decade since Gamergate. And they kept being like, oh, you'll just see, get woke, go broke, get woke, go broke. Oh, keep doing this pronoun stuff and all your companies are gonna close. And then it didn't happen. Because of course it didn't. Because I don't know if you know this, but tons of gamers are either queer or fine and not weird chuds. They're fine with being allies or at least being indifferent to people's choices or who they are. So these people think that they're, like, in the majority, so they really thought, like, over time, our ideas are so good. Clearly in a decade, we'll be making fun of pronouns or whatever, or non-binary people, but that hasn't happened, because people are fine with it. Like, At worst, for most people, they're just like, oh, whatever. They just don't give a shit, even if they're not what would consider an enthusiastic ally. So it's not even that they're mad about it being a new thing anymore. They're mad that it's just considered typical. It's not even something worth commenting on. It's not a new thing. Games have been doing this for a while, like having they-them options or having separate options for, like, your gender versus gender expression in terms of your character's appearance. Like, that's a thing that's existed, and they're mad that the world has moved on without them. It reminds me of the Simpsons thing where, Grandpa Simpson is like, I used to be with it, and then the thing that was it changed, you know? They think that they are the target demo. They think they have their finger on the pulse of everyone, and they just don't. They have no idea that younger people than them just generally don't give a shit. Like, if I went to a Gen Z person, like someone who's younger, like younger Gen Z, like someone who's 15, I don't know. I don't even know if they'd notice that the they-them option is a weird thing. They'd be like, yeah, what about it? No one cares. They're mad that the world has moved on without them and no longer coddles their shitty, bigoted views. Dr. Gamble says, bet this guy totally whines about an easy mode being added to Dark Souls, too. Ugh, same. Have you seen people who bitch about, like, easy modes in Nintendo games? I literally saw someone complain about, like, the easy mode on, like, Yoshi's Woolly World, which is already a game that's, you know, aimed at quite young audiences, but there's an even easier mode where you basically don't die. And I saw people, like, when that came out, mad about it, and it's like, it's literally a game for little children. Like, it's fine. Let them enjoy the game. And there's people like, oh, they need to get good. They're children. I assure you, there will be times in the future where they play games, if they continue to play them, where they will be challenged. It's fine in this instance for them to just play the game and learn the basics of how to control a character and get to feel like, oh, I got to the end of a level. I did it. I just... Every single one of these people that came out of Gamergate are just the worst. Unironically, they are the worst. They have not matured past 12 years old, and it is so funny.
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what?
Why is it not immersive to have they-them pronouns in the game? That's a thing in real life today. The game takes place like 200, 300 years in the future. It's a thing that exists today. Like, they can't even use the excuse of like, oh, this game is set in medieval fantasy Europe, so everyone should be straight and cis, and there should be no patriarchy, and they should all be white. Like, they can't even give that thinly veiled bullshit excuse. It's literally a sci-fi space adventure game set in the future. How are you bitching about this?
Fucking pronouns!
Yes, you also have pronouns, sir. They're he, him, which I assume you chose because those are your pronouns. He must really hate Baldur's Gate 3.
Fucking gender ambiguity!
Oh no. Non-binary people make him mad. Don't make no, don't make fun of people's looks. Don't make fun of people's looks. Mr. Whiskers says, I only fuck with amateur nouns. Ooh.
Fucking current day Californian shit!
Famously, only people in California have pronouns. Unstable Deadbeat says, if he wanted to be immersed in the real world, he would just go outside. He wants to be immersed in the gross, bigoted world he dreams of.
Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
It's literally just an option in character creation. There's a whole game after character creation. I don't know if you know that. Remember when these people used to call feminists triggered? Like, seriously, the image of him shouting here...
Guess what? Fucking pronouns!
The image of him just shouting... Oh, there was a pog face. I missed it. Or just like, as much as these people like took screenshots of like random people that they perceived as feminists in like 2012 and memed it to hell, this man's image of him just absolutely losing his stupid mind over fucking pronouns. If this isn't a meme for the next 10 years that gets absolutely drilled into the ground, I'll be so disappointed. I will be so disappointed. Also, I'm gonna save this for an emote, because holy shit, that's good. I'm sure someone else has already done it. I'm sure I'm far from the first, but, you know. You gotta. Oops, that's a bad snip. Let's try that again. Okay. Make that later.
Pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day California!
The funny thing is he's admitting people like him want to run away from the world, right?
Shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring!
Why are you playing the game then?
We're so fucking boring!
Like, imagine if he was talking... Basically what he's talking about, Professor Oak being like, are you a boy or a girl? Imagine him being like, Nanantech! How dare you ask me? This is what he's doing. It's just that in the current day, we acknowledge that non-binary people exist.
We can't see past our own fucking reflection!
What?
That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda Western Game Company!
They're narcissistic for being inclusive of different types of people, but you're not narcissistic for demanding that they not be inclusive because you don't like it? They're not forcing you to go by they, them in the game. He, him is an option, as is she, her. Does he really not know that, like, he has pronouns? As a cis man, he has pronouns. He, him, masculine pronouns because he's a cis man and that's how he identifies. Does he genuinely not understand that there is not a difference between the pronouns he uses and the pronouns trans people use? Like, it's not some nebulous separate concept. It's the same thing.
Fuck your immersion! Fuck you having a good time! Fuck you!
Why can't you have a good time?
Falling into a world and just getting lost. No.
Why?
No! Current fucking day!
It's not even current. Again, this is not a new thing.
Fuck off!
I cannot wait for the next 10, 20 years continuing watching the decline of these people. Just like mentally, ideologically. It's gonna be beautiful.
You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle!
That's like saying people are a hive mind for not liking racism or something, or being a hive mind for not liking homophobia. Like, generally, most people aren't antisocial, and I don't mean in the you're introverted way, I mean in the you are actively very against people in society. Most people don't give a shit. Like, you're actively mad and crying on the internet because people you don't like exist, and you want to live in a fantasy world where they don't. It's so funny to me. And it's funny, too, when they're like, our children shouldn't know trans people exist. Why? They're gonna know. Like, I'm not telling you to talk to kids about anything explicit, obviously, but, like, the fact that some people are born boys and then, you know, actually are girls, or the reverse, or there are people who are non-binary, that's just a reality. That's a reality of life. But they act like it's some insane thing. It's really not. 80 blue with a link. You control the buttons you press. Wait, hold on. The new ice bomb will let you freeze demons in place. Will we have the option to turn off that cannon and play classic like good old times? You control the buttons you press. Oh, gamers. Gamers are doing great.
That's all you fucking are! And you wonder why people are getting so fucking sick and tired! You take everything we love!
Nothing has been taken from you.
our emotions, all our fantasies, all our...
That's unhealthy. Are all of your, like, everything you love and all of your fantasies are derived from for-profit media? That's incredibly unhealthy. Holy shit. I say this as the person with this in my background. Holy shit, decouple from media, sir. If the entirety of your understanding of the world and fantasy life is directly ripped from, like, games and movies and stuff, and I'm saying entirely, it's perfectly fine to garner lessons and things from media. I've talked about the fact that I have. But, like, that's all you love? Holy hell, that is disconnected from reality. Just Belmont, thanks for 24 months as I bring the meme and emote. Let's see.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
Ah! That's good. And emote. Oh boy. How do I save this? Log in to add to your chat. Oh my god. Okay. So I need to, like, log into this so you guys can use certain things? Okay. I'll figure that out at some point. I know people have talked about that, and they want it badly, so I should probably do that. Where? There it is.
Escapism!
Cashel Gladio says he thinks current day is annoying. Wait till the year 2300 when the game takes place. That'll be current day time in 3 times 300.
You just can't help! Shovel your dog shit! Fucking crap! Ideology into every...
No one's asking you to do anything. It's literally an option. No one's making you take it.
Thing! Every single solitary fucking thing!
What a fucking loser. Ugh, that's pathetic. And pretty funny. Alright, let's see who we're gonna raid. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow with Chud Watch. We'll watch more of that guy and other Chuds being mad about stupid stuff. Unstable Deadbeat says, I got home late from work today, so really glad you went long on this stream. Have the rest of my bits and appreciation. Thank you. And Dr. Gamble says, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. I don't think we've rated Willow in a while. Alright, have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Love you, Mr. Blast. And everyone else, stay cool. Literally and figuratively. I'm gonna go probably play some Starfield and watch the season finale of Strange New Worlds. So that'll be fun. See you later!